What's up, gamers? You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 115.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Ben. Joining me this week is he's not here either. Bender's here though. Bender.
Yay.
It's just me and you tonight, dude.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. Frankie's off this week, as well as Brent. They've got some things going on. They need a well-deserved break. So just you and I holding the fort down tonight, man. How you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, just relaxing, enjoying the weekend. How about yourself?
Good to hear you. Yeah, I have been under the weather for the past few days, so I am trying to get back into tip-top shape here. Feeling much better today than I have for the past few days. Yesterday was kind of like the climax or the peak of my, just basic cold or whatever I'm dealing with. So... Feeling much better today. Had a busy day with the kids. It's baseball season, so they both had a game today. So it was running around with both of them. It was their opening day parade, which their little league does, which is kind of cool. They block off the streets downtown, and the kids get to walk through with their team, and it's a cool thing that they get to do. So
cool. Been
dealing with baseball festivities all day. So I finally get a chance to sit down, chill out, talk some games with you. What's up with you, man? Anything new and exciting in Bender's world?
No, not much. I've been house sitting for my brother this past few days. They went out of town for the weekend, so
Gotcha.
Just watching the dog over there and the cat, and just just hanging out and playing games over at their house. I took my PS4 over there, so I have something to play.
Nice.
So yeah, good times.
Nice. We're going to get into some of the other stuff you've been playing, but before we get to that, Bender, I want to talk about Mario Kart for a minute here, all right?
Okay.
I assume you've been playing that a lot, probably?
Yeah, for sure.
So I've been, like I said, I've been under the weather a little bit this week, so I haven't been really in the mood to sit down at the couch and play some games. So I've had my Switch with me in bed pretty much. So I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart and stuff, and it's obviously it's a great game. Very good game, very very good version of Mario Kart. Having a lot of fun with it. I posted a couple times to Best you and Brent too while I've been in bed, so you'll have to check those out when you get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been experimenting with racers, trying to find the style that I like, the kart that I like, and the character and all that jazz. And I couldn't help but think about this, and I want to ask you about this, Bender. But there's a lot of kind of under the hood stuff in Mario Kart 8 that game just does not tell you. There's no tutorial. You go to that little info screen on the game and it tells you some of the basics of the game, and that's all you get. You don't realize that there's different weight classes to the racers, and there's not only is there light, medium, and heavy, but there's ultra light and ultra heavy and everything in between. So there's all these different weight classes that you don't really know what they do or how they affect the race. The carts and the different parts. You get a kind of a basic indication of how they can change your racer through the rankings that are displayed on the racer select screen, but there's no there's no really easy way to tell what kind of parts would be good for the type of kart that you're trying to assemble or whatnot. There's no really easy way to test things other than to just, I guess, go on the time trials and try and just do races with different combinations of characters. So I want to ask you, Bender, why is none of this stuff in the game? And why isn't there more of a teaching element to this game? I get Mario Kart's a pick up and play game, and that's awesome. And that's great. But if you pick up this game and you just go about your daily lives and you race the computer, you do the 50cc or the 100cc or whatever you do, the minute you go online, you're gonna come in dead last every single time because you're probably gonna have no idea like some of this other stuff that goes into the game. So I don't know. Is this something we might see in the future? Why do you think like none of that stuff's in the game? Especially something as simple as like the weight classes for the racers. That seems like something that should be in there and something that should be explained to the players, right?
I guess so. I've never really thought that much about it, but I think, I mean, that could be because I've played every Mario Kart game and I kind of know that stuff just from experience and you know, playing through the previous games and everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's just a lot of kind of experimentation that you have to do to learn the different kart parts and everything, and learn what works best for you and your racing style. Mm-hmm. Like I personally like a kart that has like high acceleration and good handling, because you know, if you get hit, you're going to want to be able to take off from a dead stop as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. However, some people might like a higher top speed because if they know they're not going to be hit too much, then they're going to want to be able to get up to a faster speed when they get up to speed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess maybe it's not in there because maybe Nintendo just assumes that a lot of people have already played the other games as well and kind of already know a lot of this stuff. So maybe they should make that assumption. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I've never really put too much thought into it.
And that's the thing. Like you've played lots of Mario Kart. You played every Mario Kart since the first one, so you're familiar with the mechanics in that respect. I've sporadically played Mario Kart throughout the year, so you know I started on the Super Nintendo one, played on the 64 one, and the ones in between there are iffy for me. You know, I played on the Wii version. That was, you know, a little bit different of a Mario Kart than the one we have now. So when I hop into this one, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. So I'm going along and I'm racing and I'm, you know, putting up certain times, and then I go on the leaderboards or onto the time trials, and I'm looking on there and I'm like, well, how the hell does this guy have this time on here? It's like, how's that even possible? Like, how are people doing this stuff? So then I proceed to go to the internet, and I'm like, all right, I need to figure out like what's going on here. So I start reading about Mario Kart, and I start, you know, realizing there's all these different weight classes and different things, and how acceleration and handling and all this stuff plays off and affects each other. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, like, are other people going to be willing to do this? I imagine that many of the people that have a Switch or that are looking to get a Switch probably haven't had a Nintendo system in a while, or may not be up on all of the Mario Kart lingo. You know, I imagine that's got to be a thing. That's the whole reason they released Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? Because not a lot of people had a Wii U, so they're expecting this whole new audience to pick this game up now on the Switch. So I imagine that a lot of people would benefit from having some type of a tutorial or explanation for some of the stuff that goes on in this game. So it's a little bit strange that none of that is in the title. But if you are playing Mario Kart 8 and you're frustrated or you don't know like what's going on, go online, look up some of these tutorials, and look up, you know, some of the deeper mechanics that are in the game that the game doesn't explain to you, and it should help you out a little bit. Because that's what I've been doing. It's been helping me out to understand the game a little bit more. I just, I'm just a little puzzled why none of that's in the actual game.
Yeah.
But it's a really fun game. Having a good time with it. The one of the other frustrating things is playing the computer, and this seems to happen on, you know, I'm trying to go through and like get the 3 stars or get the gold cups and all that stuff on the different races, and I'm going through, and it always seems to happen on one of the races, but I'll be way out in the lead, and then all of a sudden I get hit with a blue shell, then I get hit with lightning, then I get hit with like 3 or 4 red shells. This happens like all in a row, like all at once. just get obliterated on the final lap as I'm coming around to the finish line. And that's so irritating. I think I've played the Mushroom Cup, I don't know how many times. This is, you know, the basic racetracks in the game, the easiest ones in the game. Like, I should be wiping the floor with these guys, and I'm always like way out in the lead. But on one of the races, somehow I get hit with that sequence. I get a blue shell, then a lightning bolt, and then Iggy just comes through and just wipes the floor with me. And I'm just like, damn, it's so irritating, man. that darn computer.
Man, you mentioned the Mario Kart on Wii. The AI is nowhere near as bad as it was in that game. That game was brutal with like the rubber banding. Like you would be way up in front. And I don't know if you've seen this video, but there's this video that circulates on the internet of someone who's in first place on the DK Jungle track or something on the Wii, and then they just get hit with everything, and then they get knocked off the edge as well at the very end to just throw salt in their wound. They end up them going from first to 12th, and it's just ridiculous. That game was insane, but it's still pretty tough sometimes in this one, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about the Wii version, but I can see that. But man, that's so frustrating, dude. The blue shell should not be a thing in that game. Do you agree?
I don't know, man. Sometimes when people get way up in front, I mean, the blue shell can be a lifesaver, and sometimes it's your only chance to catch up. So,
I mean, the reason I say that is from my experience, it seems like the only people that get the blue shell are the ones that are in the back of the pack. The people that probably aren't going to factor into the race anyways. So they get a blue shell, and they throw it at the guy that's in the front, and they hit that guy and mess him up, but it doesn't do anything for them. They're still in dead last, you know? They're still like in the back of the pack and probably not going to finish in the top 3 or 4 anyways. So they get the blue shell, and then they ruin the guy who's in the lead. Yeah, I get the bullet bill, like that's a cool one to get. You usually get that when you're in the back. Or I don't know about that lightning bolt either. That's really irritating. But the blue shell, I just feel like nobody gets that. That's in like the first 6 spots. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, it's pretty much you only get it if you're near the back. And I gotta say, man, having the ghost come back, the Boo, he's been the bane of my existence. Because every time I get an item, you always want to have an item dragging behind you, because if somebody tries to hit you with a red shell, it'll hit the item instead. So I'm like,
dude, that's another thing, man. I had no idea about that. So I read about that. I was like, oh man, you can put this behind you and it'll block it. Didn't know that.
Oh really? Man, that's been a thing since Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, and I sporadically play those games.
Yeah.
I don't have that intimate knowledge of them. So
well, we should talk. I can probably give you more pointers. If you,
I bet you can. But carry on.
But yeah, no,
I digress.
No, I was just saying, you have a green shell dragging behind you, and then the Boo will come and steal it, and then all you have left is like a coin or something. It's like, oh, that's not gonna help me. So
yeah, the Boo is definitely irritating. He always seems to show up for me when I have a red shell, when I'm like about to slaughter somebody in front of me. Pops up and takes it.
Yeah.
So that Boo's a dirty character.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's been a fun game though. You been playing online at all, or what kind of stuff you been doing in the game?
I've been trying to 3-star all the cups. I played online a little bit, but I've mainly been trying to 3-star all the cups. Which, in case you didn't know, this is another thing the game doesn't tell you, and this wasn't the case in the previous games. But if you get 3 stars on 150cc, it'll automatically give it to you for 150cc. So you don't have to do all of them. If you just have to do 150, you'll still have to do mirror mode and 200cc to get those 3 stars, but you don't have to do 100 or 50 at all if you don't want to.
I did notice that, and I just completely stopped playing 50 and 100. I feel like I don't know about you, but I feel like that game's made to be played on 150. 200 is really fast, and I'm not sure that's the best mode for the game, but 150 is just about perfect. That's like where the game thrives, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, going back to 50cc, it's like painfully slow.
Yeah, it's hard to play 50cc. It's just like, man, how did I ever play this in any of these other Mario Karts? But I don't know if it just feels that way just because 150cc is so much faster in this game now. But yeah, it's hard to play. It's hard to play 100 really as well. It's just they just both feel like really slow.
Yeah.
Compared to 150. What are your thoughts on 200? Do you like 200? Do you think it's just too fast? Do you like having to use brakes in a Mario Kart game?
I like it just because it switches up the game for you. It's a challenge.
It's almost a completely different game, right?
Yeah, you have to
Like
play
when you play
completely
200.
differently. You have to approach tracks differently. I mean, you can't play the way you normally do. And you have to use brakes. I've never used the brake in a Mario Kart game until 200cc came out, and brakes are essential in that mode. So that is completely changes up your strategy. So I like it for that reason. It's tough, but it's cool though.
Yeah, it is interesting, and that's one of the reasons I haven't been able to spend too much time playing it, because it plays too much. It plays too differently than the regular, the other speed classes in the game. Mm-hmm. So you really, I mean, you have to completely change your strategy and how you play the game, and it's just it's a big adjustment. So I feel like once I've had my fill of 150 and I've done everything I want to do there, then I can see myself jumping up to 200 and kind of adjusting my mechanics and playing through the game at that level to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, super cool game. Highly recommended. Mario Kart 8. It's been a fun time so far on the Switch. It runs great in handheld mode. It runs great on the TV. The online, every time I've hopped into it, has been pretty solid as well. Obviously, we'd love to have some more features in terms of that, and hopefully that's something that Nintendo will look at down the line, especially once they get their online service going. But just in a in a pure experience, it's been a fun time so far. Just go read about the games, you know how to play the damn thing.
Yep.
Other than that, what else you been playing, Bender? You said you got your PS4 over at your brother's place there. What's been happening there?
Well, I've been playing several things actually. The other day we were talking on the Discord chat, and Frankie put in a link for I guess they're going to be updating Shantae and the Half Genie Hero with some sort of new content or something. And I was like, man, I need to get back to that. And Frank was like, Bender, it's so good, you need to finish it. So I went back to that game and actually finished playing it today. Played through the rest of the game. Got 100% completion, so I found all the items and everything. It's a really good game. I like it a lot. It's the Shantae games are always great. This one is probably the best one.
Best one?
Yeah, I think so. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah, beautiful art style, really cool. Runs smooth. The animations are really, really smooth and really nice. All the abilities that you get, the different transformations are really fun and really cool. So, it's a really good game.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to go back to Mass Effect Andromeda, play that a little bit more. I played that some today, so still on the first planet, so I'm still pretty near the beginning, but I'm making some progress, so I'm hoping to put a good dent into that game over the next couple of weeks. And
is this the first time you've gone back to it since it came out?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I think I've booted it up a couple of times and just been like, I don't have time for this, or I've been too tired to play it, and I just turned it off. But this is the first time today I went and played it for a couple hours, and this is the first time I've jumped back into it since it came out. So yeah, want to get through that. Then after that, I'll probably get Horizon Zero Dawn back from the friend that I lent it to and jump into that one again, because I want to go back to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mass Effect's pretty good so far. I did play some of the Prey demo.
Oh, really?
I did, yeah.
Tell me more.
I don't know. Here's the thing with Prey. Okay, I like what I played. I think the game is cool. I like it. I like the story. It's very intriguing. I just think it's too stressful for me, man. It's like the music starts playing anytime these mimics, these aliens, they're like these little black things with legs that run around. They can jump at you and stuff, and they can come out of anywhere because they can shapeshift. So they can you walk up to a chair and then the music starts playing and this mimic starts running around skittering around. It's crazy, man. And at first all you have is a wrench to hit them with to fight them off. Dude, I play video games to come home and unwind, after a long day at work or something, and just relax. I don't play video games to get stressed out, so I'm probably gonna pass on Prey just for that reason. I really did like it based on the story and the atmosphere and everything. But man, I just don't think I can handle it.
Hey man, I'm surprised you even gave the demo a shot. So props to you for that. And might I recommend Outlast after that? I think that's a good palate cleanser for that. Less stressful, right?
No. That's like a big reason why I don't play horror games. It's just too much for me. I get stressed out.
Yeah, they are stressful. They tap into a certain part of the brain that stimulates a certain part of you that not everybody gets into. So some people thrive on that getting scared and stress stuff, and some people don't. So myself personally, I mean, I love Outlast. I think it's a great game, but there's a time and a place for those games, and it's not all day every day. Like I couldn't play a horror game or like a just one of those like scary thriller games. I couldn't play one of those like every single day. I'd just go crazy. But in moderation, those things can be a great time. But I'm proud of you, dude, for firing up the Prey demo.
Yeah, thanks.
Our little benders are growing up right before our very eyes. Awesome. Yeah. Well, Bethesda has the thing with the no Prey reviews, or they didn't send out any review copies of the game. So there's just a few reviews that are trickling in here and there. A lot of the bigger sites, more reputable sites, haven't gotten their review out for the game yet. But I'm hearing from a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people that are playing the game are really, really enjoying the title, and they're saying some great things about it. It sounds like Prey is shaping up to be a really good game. Frankie actually fired it up this past week, did a midnight launch party for it. He's really enjoying the game so far as well. So sounds like that one's going to be another really, really good game in this slate of awesome 2017 titles. So I went ahead and just bought it. I said, to hell with it. This game sounds awesome, so I'm going to buy it. add it to the collection. Hopefully get to it at some point. Other than that, man, what else you been up to? Anything?
That's the main thing I've been playing. Jump back into Destiny every once in a while. Still some Age of Triumph things I need to finish and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, that's my goal. My goal this week is to get into Destiny like full time. All right, so I have getting stuff off my plate that I have to do for the site and in life, and I'm hoping that this week, like I'm diving back into Destiny in earnest. So at some point this week, man, we gotta hook up, get into Destiny, do some strikes, raids, whatever. I need to get in there and start firing off some last word rounds.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna have to do some like heroic strikes and nightfalls and stuff for the Age of Triumphs things, and I still have some exotic quests I need to work on, exotic weapon quests. So I've got plenty that I need to do, but a lot of it is stuff I need help with. So yeah, it'll be definitely good to have you guys, you and maybe Brent or Frankie, jump in with us and get some work done.
Yeah, we got to do that, man. We still need to get the Thursday night Destiny meetup going. We gotta make that happen. So maybe this week, man, we can hook up, do some Destiny stuff. I'd totally be down with that. I'm sure we can coax one of those guys to join us as well. And Bender, I don't know if you realize this, but we are less than 2 weeks from the worldwide gameplay trailer reveal of Destiny 2. We're less than 2 weeks.
I
We're getting
don't
close.
think I quite realize that, but that's awesome. I can't wait to see that.
There's the invites are being sent out, and this is a big deal, dude. Like, they've rented out a theater. The press is being invited to a special event. Like, this is going to be a full-on, high-profile, like, blockbuster reveal for this game, and I can't wait, dude. Like, I'm gonna be at work. I'm gonna lock my office that day, and there will be some "Do Not Disturb" signs on the door. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch that gameplay reveal. It's probably gonna be 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that. So I don't know how much gameplay they're gonna show us, but I cannot wait to see that game in action. It's still crazy that Destiny 2 is coming out this year in
I
September.
know, man. It's kind of surreal. It's hard to believe.
Man, what a year! Can't wait. As far as myself on the Tuesday night indie spotlight this week, of course, I fired up Super Rude Bear Resurrection, which is a hard ass game. My gosh. So obviously I knew going into it that was going to be hard. The developer has positioned it as this ultra hard title, and it is hard. The interesting thing about the game is that, of course, as you die, the game gets easier. So the more and more you die, your bodies get left into the level, and they help you avoid hazards the second time around. So if I fall on a bed of spikes, my body's still going to be there on the spikes, so I can use it as a platform the second time through. If I get hit by a missile, then my body's there next time, and I can use it as a meat shield as I move through the level and block the missile from hitting me in the future. If I get caught on a swinging axe, my body will be on there on the blade, so it won't cut me anymore the next time I come through. So it's a really interesting mechanic, because essentially if you die enough, you're gonna make it through the level. There's just and it doesn't matter what skill level you have. If you're into like 2D platforming games and it's something you like to play, but maybe you don't have the skills to always make it to the end. Like Super Rude Bear is a game you could potentially do that and make it to the end. You could just make your way through the game. So it's an interesting way to kind of include everybody from the gaming spectrum into the game and into the genre. So I like that about the title. It poses some interesting strategic angles as well to the game. It also, on the other end of the spectrum, it gives the hardcore something to strive for. The developer Alex Rose, he has made it clear that this is going to be one of the hardest games you're probably ever going to play, and to the ultra hardcore 2D platformers who love Super Meat Boy and Cloudberry Kingdom and all those kind of games, like if they can make it through Super Rude Bear Resurrection without dying, like they're like god level status in the 2D platformer genre. So they have something to strive for now if they want to try and go through the game without dying. There's a bunch of trophies associated with getting through the levels without dying. So it's cool that both ends of the spectrum are covered. Super Rude Bear is really, really fast paced. In Meat Boy, you can control the speed of your character, so there's like a run button, so you kind of control whether you're running or whether you're moving slow. In Rude Bear, you're just at one pace, and that's ultra fast. So he moves very, very quick, so he's a little bit more slippery than Meat Boy in that respect, because he moves really fast. The screen actually tilts and moves around as well as you're moving, which is weird. He's got this little wizard that goes around with him too that you use for help, and he kind of gives you pointers every now and then. He's always talking though, which is kind of irritating. So his words are always on the screen as you're trying to go through and navigate these levels. You get used to it after a while, but at first you're like, dude, you just shut the hell up. I just want to go through the level and not have your words be all in my way. But yeah, it's a fun game. I'm having a good time with it. I definitely want to keep playing some more of it. I actually, after the stream, I did get a chance to play some more, and I went through and found one of the secret levels in the game. And man, they're like, that level was like 10 times as hard as a regular level. So I can only imagine as you find more of these secret levels how much more difficult they get. But yeah, cool game. If you're a Meat Boy fan, Cloudberry Kingdom, Phoenix Fury, all those kind of games, check this game out. It's gonna be for you. I definitely recommend it. It's been a good time so far. Other than that, just been playing Mario Kart like we talked about. So that's pretty much it for me in terms of what I've been playing. So with that, Bender, let's get into the new releases for this week, man. We got a big slate of titles ahead of us. No big like AAA titles, but lots of really, really, really good, if I could talk, really, really good digital titles on the docket for us this week. So let's start things off on the PlayStation side of things with Loco Roco Remastered. It's coming to the PS4 this week. It will be available in 1080p remastered form for the PS4, and also for PS4 Pro users, 4K. So I believe it's a native 4K on Loco Roco, and this is a good title to display that, because it kind of has a timeless art style. This game was originally on the PSP. It's part of that remaster, not collection, but group of titles that was announced back at was it PlayStation Experience or E3? It was one of those. But they announced Loco Roco Remastered, Parappa the Rapper Remastered, and Patapon Remastered, which is the next one in the series that we're gonna get. excited about Patapon too. That's another game with a really, really cool art style. That's an awesome title. So Loco Roco, really colorful, really cartoony art style. This game's gonna look awesome in 4K. It's gonna look awesome in 1080p. I've watched some of the remastered video that's online. Game looks spectacular. It's I didn't really play the PSP one, unfortunately. It was a revered title though. Many people loved it. It was one of those really quirky Japanese games that the PSP had that people really loved. There were several of those titles. Patapon is one of those as well, which we'll get in the near future here. But it's basically a puzzle platformer. You're moving this blob around and you're kind of tilting the screen and collecting other blobs, making a bigger blob, and there's lots of splitting up, and there's lots of really cool puzzle mechanics that go into the game. So I'm looking forward to actually playing the actual game. I messed around with the PS3 version of Loco Roco, which was not a full-on game. It was more like a taste of the Loco Roco experience on that platform. The actual Loco Roco and Loco Roco 2 were only on the PSP originally. So I think it's awesome this game's getting another life here on the PS4. Bender, let me ask you about this one, man. This seems like something you might get into. It's got that quirky puzzle platformer thing that I know you get into those games a lot, like I do. What do you think about Loco Roco? Is this something you might fire up, give it a chance?
Yeah, I think I'll have to check it out at some point. It's a game that I've always heard about. It's Loco Roco is a word that I've heard multiple times throughout the years. I've never actually played it. But it looks like something I'd be interested in. It's colorful and has good music and it has some cool things going on. I like the art style and everything. Looks just from watching the beginning of the trailer earlier, it looks like kind of like a 2D side-scrolling Katamari or something.
yeah, it's got some of that in it.
Yeah, we're just rolling around and getting bigger and everything. But yeah, it looks like a very interesting title, so I'll have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, definitely. So that one will be out this Tuesday. I'm looking forward to playing that myself. Like I said, this is going to be a gorgeous looking title on the PS4, so you look forward to that one this Tuesday. Also this week, Bender, the game I'm probably going to fire up on the Indie Spotlight is Butcher. Butcher is a 2D shooter that's been described kind of as if Doom were a two-dimensional shoot-'em-up game. So, this is a dark, just grisly, gory, shoot-'em-up with lots of crazy weapons and monsters and aliens and all kinds of stuff going on the screen. It looks difficult. It looks terribly difficult, actually. So this seems like the perfect title for the Indie Spotlight. I always seem to get suckered into these hard-ass games on there. So, if all goes according to plan, we'll fire up Butcher on there. I'll play through that, probably get slaughtered, hopefully do some slaughtering myself. But it looks like a pretty kick-ass game. It looks like a pedal to the metal, just balls to the wall shooter. Basically how they describe it as a 2D Doom is basically what it looks like. But even if that was kicked up a notch. It's got a cool pixel art style, kind of reminiscent of Broforce. So, looking forward to playing that one. Hopefully we'll fire that one up Tuesday. That's 10 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. Just search Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. Come on over, hop into the comments, watch me play through the game. We'll have a good time with that one. Also coming this week, another cool looking title, Strafe. This is a throwback. Speaking of Doom, this is a throwback to Quake and Doom from 1996. I don't know if you've ever looked at the website for this game, Bender, but it's pretty awesome. It's made to look like a GeoCities site from back in the 90s. So you go there and it's got that kind of look and feel to it with the the kind of crude looking text and links and stuff that are on there. It's really cool. But this is an ultra fast-paced first-person shooter. Lots of weapons, lots of monsters, lots of gore, procedurally generated stages. This game looks awesome. Had my eye on it for a while. So if you're a fan of Quake or Doom, or you grew up playing games in that era in the 90s, like the first-person PC shooter of the 90s, check out Strafe this week. It's something you probably get into. Human Fall Flat also coming this week. This is a curve joint. Bender, this one might be one that you get into as well. This looks kind of cool. It's a physics-based puzzler. So I don't know exactly all the different puzzles or how they work exactly. but it's all physics based, and you've got this kind of nondescript, just I don't know, almost like a stick figure, but you're I don't know, how do you describe it? It looks like the what are those bean characters from Word documents? What are they called? You know what I'm talking about? The string beans or whatever they're called.
I don't know.
that you used to be able to put in Word documents. Yeah, basically he's like this white bubble character that you just you move around this zany world and you figure out puzzles. Looks pretty interesting. I love Curve, man. They publish some great games, and I generally really get into their stuff. So I feel like Human Fall Flat is one that I'm gonna enjoy. If you decide to get the game, if you pre-order it before it comes out on Tuesday, if you're listening to the show before then, you actually get Manual Samuel for free, which is another game that they've published recently. That crazy game about the guy who died and has to control all his bodily functions. They're no longer involuntary. He has to control them all himself as part of his deal with death. So it's another kooky looking title. But so I'm gonna pick up Fall Flat and get Manual Samuel with it, and hopefully I get around to that at some point. It looks like it could be a good bit of fun. Heard some good things about it on PC. Another sweet looking game, NBA Playgrounds. This obviously looks to tap into the NBA Jam style of game, the 2-on-2 wild dunks, 3-point, just crazy basketball game that NBA Jam was. So I go to you, Bender, Boom Shakalaka Holt, our resident NBA Jam correspondent. Bender, NBA Jam, if I'm not mistaken, has the distinct privilege of being the only sports game that you've ever really gotten into.
Pretty much. I mean, if you don't count like Mario Golf or like Tony Hawk skating or like snowboarding games, which as far as the core sports, like basketball, football, baseball, NBA Jam is pretty much the only one that I've ever really gotten into and enjoyed, because it's just so over the top, and I love that about it. It's just like jumping from half court and dunking and like the ball catching on fire, all that stuff always was really fun to me. So this thing like dropped on the PlayStation Store for NBA Playgrounds. It's like it said free, so we're like, I don't know what that's all about. So I downloaded it, and apparently you said it was like a beta, an online beta that leaked onto the store or something, right?
Yeah, let's explain that really quick. So briefly, on was it Friday? Thursday or Friday? The NBA Playgrounds just showed up on the PlayStation Store and it said free. So I was like, I let you guys know. I was like, hey guys, this is on here for free. I don't know if this is the game or not, but so we all went on there. We downloaded it. It was only on there for a few minutes. It's since been removed, but what ended up happening was, I don't know how this happens, but they inadvertently loaded the online beta for the game onto the store, which was never meant to be released and was basically designed to test out the online features of the online capabilities of the game. So this thing leaked online and people were able to download it and get on and actually play matches on it. So people can get on there, you can play people online and see how it works. So if you were lucky enough to get in on that, you've got kind of an inside track on NBA Playgrounds. Now I imagine when the game comes out officially on Tuesday, it's scheduled to be $20. So I imagine we'll have to pay for that when it actually comes out. But those of us that hopped into it on Friday were able to get a brief glimpse of the game here. I unfortunately haven't been able to load it up myself, but you said you were able to get into a match or two, correct?
Yeah, I tried pretty much just one match. So I booted up the game, and like it gives you these like cards to like get to reveal which players you get to choose from. I guess you have to unlock all the different players that you can play as. So it comes up like I don't know if it reminded me of like a free to play game where you're like, oh, here's these cards you have to try to play to earn more. I don't know if that's how it works or what, but so you get randomly generated, I guess, different players, and then you can jump into a match. Since it was an online beta, I didn't know, but that's what it was. It only would let me play online. It wouldn't let you play like an exhibition single player or anything like that. So I was like, oh, that sucks. But I went ahead and jumped into an online match. I immediately got housed by whoever I was playing against. Just like he was, I don't know if he had been playing already for a while or what, but I was like still trying to learn the controls, and I'm like, shooting when I should be passing, and like I was just kind of screwing up. But it was cool from what I played. I would like to jump into a single player thing so I can learn the controls and get used to the game mechanics and everything before I try to play online again. But I liked it. It definitely had some NBA Jam vibes. I mean, there's definitely the jumping from, well, I don't know if you could jump from half court, but there was definitely some high flying dunks going on and stuff like that. There seemed to be some sort of power up system, which I didn't really understand what it was exactly, but it definitely had some cool things going on. So I liked it from what I played, even though I lost.
Gotcha. So it has potential to be like an NBA Jam type of game.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Yeah, I have to get this then, dude. Like you, I was obsessed with NBA Jam, man. I mean, on Super Nintendo, NBA Jam Tournament Edition was like, man, it was all day, every day with the Phoenix Suns gorilla, just giving out work. Yeah, I absolutely loved NBA Jam, and that was like a cultural phenomenon at that time. Yeah, so I can't wait to play NBA Playgrounds. I need to get in there and try out that beta too. I'll probably be like you though. I'll probably run into the guy that's been playing it since it came out, and I'll just get the floor waxed. But I do want to try it out and see how it goes. Brent was able to hop into a few matches as well, and he really liked what he played as well. So sounds like it's coming along nicely. So if you're an NBA Jam fan, keep your eye on NBA Playgrounds. Hopefully that one turns out well. I believe there's over 250 superstars in that game from throughout the NBA's vast history, which is pretty awesome. So that'll be out this Tuesday. Another one. Now, Bender, we gotta make a pact as a short pause crew here to get in and play Lethal League at some point. So this is a game we talked about a few weeks back and we thought it was coming out. It didn't come out then. It's coming out this week. This is this up to 4 player strange mix of like Windjammers or Disc Jam like we played recently in a fighting game. So it's got this really cool, almost hand-drawn, cartoony art style look to it. It's been on Steam for a while. I don't know if it's been in like a beta state or what do they call those, early access state. But it looks like a really cool game, dude. It looks like I said, it looks like a mix of like Disc Jammer, Windjammers, and like Street Fighter. There's up to 4 players on the screen at once. It's really zany. You're hitting this disc back and forth. You're doing super moves, and it just looks really, really cool. Looks like a great time. So we need to make it a point to get a short pause co-op stream going for this game. All 4 of us hop in here, play some Lethal League matches. I think it could be a good time. So be on the lookout for that if you're in the mood for a co-op crazy sports fighting game. Last Stitch Goodnight. An interesting looking title. A side-scrolling adventure game with some strange science and robotic stuff going on. So check that out if you're in the mood for a side-scrolling adventure title. Demon's Crystals is a Friday release. It's a twin-stick shooter. It's been on Steam for a little while, I believe. So if you're into those games, which I am, this could be a cool one. That looks like one I definitely need to check out. Birthday's the Beginning is coming out digitally and on retail. It's from the creator of Harvest Moon. Did you ever get into those games, Bender? Any affinity to Harvest Moon?
I've never really played one. So yeah, it's another series that I've always heard was good, and I've never jumped in. So no.
Yeah. I know you like Animal Crossing. I feel like there could be some of that in the Harvest Moon games as well. I know a lot of people really love that series. But guy who created Harvest Moon, this is his newest game. It looks like a world builder, maybe something like I don't know, any of these like world building games like Minecraft or one of those mixed with some maybe even some like Pokemon elements with some of the creatures that you capture. I don't know, it looks like an interesting mix of a lot of different games. So if you're into Harvest Moon or you're into Minecraft, maybe check this out. It might be something you get into. Elliot Quest is coming over to PS4 this week. You remember this one on Wii U, Bender?
Yeah, I remember. That came out a while ago. It was one that looked pretty cool and interested in me, but I never actually tried it out.
Yeah, main character kind of looks like Kid Icarus. but the game is described as like a love letter to Mega Man and Zelda 2, which is interesting. So I've never actually played Elliot Quest. It's only been on the Wii U up to this point, I believe. In fact, I believe it was developed on the Nintendo Framework, or whatever the name of that engine was that it originally appeared on the Wii U. So they rebuilt the game now for other platforms. It's also coming to the 3DS this week, which we'll get to, and the Xbox One. But this is a cool looking title, man. It's got a retro 8-bit look to it. I've heard some good things about it. This is one I'd like to try out at some point. Blade and Bones looks like a kind of a low budget attempt at a Dark Souls kind of game. Not sure how that one's going to turn out. Revenant Saga coming to all 3 PlayStation platforms this week. Unconfirmed if it's cross-buy or not. I assume that it's probably going to be. This is one of those Kemco mobile RPGs that are usually just straightforward, Japanese role-playing games that they release on mobile devices. A lot of these are getting ported over to consoles. This is the latest one making its way over to PlayStation. Bloons TD5. Strange title. It's a tower defense game. It's a really cool cartoony art style about defending your city from killer balloons, I guess. Strange. Arcade Archives Neo Geo The King of Fighters 95 brings the classic fighter to PS4 this Thursday. And a couple of PS2 classics are making their way over to PS4. Harvest Moon saved the homeland, just in time for birthdays at the beginning. And Resident Evil Code Veronica X, the PS2 version, getting ported over to the PS4, obviously with the enhancements that we expect on those. So 1080p visuals, trophies, of course. Code Veronica X actually has a platinum trophy, which is cool. So check that out if you're a Resident Evil fan. A couple other notes here. Paladins is available now. This is it's been I don't know if it was open beta, closed. I guess it was closed beta prior to this on the PlayStation 4. This is from the team that made Smite. This is their new hero shooter, so something along the lines of Overwatch. This is a free-to-play game, so you can hop into it and see what that one's all about. They also have a Founders Pack available for $20, which I think pretty much unlocks everything in the game. So if you get in there and you like it, maybe you throw them $20 and unlock the whole shebang. But that one's available now in open beta state, so anybody can go in there and download it and check out what Paladins is all about. And Lego Dimensions Wave 8 is arriving this week, so that's going to include the Goonies level pack, as well as fun packs for Hermione from Harry Potter and Chase McCain from Lego City Undercover. He's getting a fun pack as well. So check out Lego Dimensions Wave 8 if you so choose. On the VR side of things, Bender, we've got Moonshot Galaxy, which is a space golf game coming to VR, and Polybius, which is a crazy-looking game from Jeff Minters, who's the guy who made Tempest 2000, Space Giraffe, those kind of like just crazy shooter games. This looks like something along what you would expect Tempest 2000 in VR to look like. So it looks like this could be a pretty intense experience with the headset on. I'm interested to check that one out. So those are your VR titles this week. On the PS3 and Vita, Revenant Saga, once again, is coming over to those platforms. Let's hop into the Xbox side of things. A couple of notes here. Paladins, obviously available now over there as well. Dreamfall Chapters is available now on Xbox Live. Arcade Archives Neo Geo Last Resort came out last week alongside Samurai Showdown. And Magic Duels Amonkhet expansion is available now over there, so go ahead and check that out. The Gears of War 4 May update is also live, which has a couple new maps. One of them is a remaster of a Gears of War 2 map. One of them's a completely brand new map. Some other new things in there as well. So if you're a Gears fan, hop in there and check that out. Of course, coming to the Xbox this week, NBA Playgrounds will be over there as well, alongside Butcher, which is a Wednesday title, Lethal League, which is a Wednesday title, Human Fall Flat, which is a Friday title, Elliot Quest is a Friday title, and Demon's Crystals is a Friday title over there as well. The other game coming to the Xbox this week is Narcosis, an underwater horror game, which Bender can't wait to get his hands on. That'll be out on Wednesday, May 10th. All right, let's hop into Nintendo now, Bender. We'll start with the Switch, and what we missed last week was Arcade Archives Neo Geo Blazing Star. They just keep cranking these games out on there. So $7.99 get you the latest Neo Geo Arcade Archives game. I know, they put out a release recently that said that the Arcade Archives crew said that games have been selling well on the Switch, so it's good to hear for them. Blaster Master Zero also getting a demo this week, so you can, it's already on there. So get on there and try that game out if you so choose. Have you given that one a whirl yet?
No, not yet. But I never played the original Blaster Master, so It's not like I had that nostalgia like some people have, but it's something. Since if it has a demo, I'll try it out.
Yeah, I'd like to try out that demo. I didn't end up picking it up when it came out, so I would like to give it a whirl and see what it's all about. Looks like it could be a cool game. This week for the Switch, NBA Playground's coming over there as well. One caveat here is that the online functionality will not be there at launch. They are planning to patch it in a few days later, from what I understand. So just keep that in mind if you get it over on the Switch. And Minecraft, Nintendo Switch Edition, the digital edition of Minecraft, coming over to the Switch this week. It's $30. It includes the Nintendo or Super Mario mashup pack or whatever that thing's called. So that'll be out on Thursday. You can add Minecraft to the 451st platform that it's come to. So if you somehow do not have that game yet and you still want it, get it on the Switch this week. All right, for the Wii U, what we missed last week, Wind Kings, which is a $9.99 like 4-player Towerfall kind of game, and Bonk's Revenge, the TurboGrafx 16 Virtual Console release, is on there for $5.99. We don't know anything that's coming to the Wii U this week. What we missed last week on the 3DS was that Blaster Master demo, and this week, as we mentioned, Elliot Quest coming over to the 3DS in its new, new beefed up form. That'll be out on Thursday for $14.99. So that's it, Bender. It's going to bring us to the end of the new releases.
All right.
Let's, what do you say we hop into some news? All right, Bender, we're going to start the news off this week with the kind of surprise announcement that Darksiders 3 is officially happening. It's a real thing. It's being developed by THQ Nordic. Well, it's being published by THQ Nordic and developed by Gunfire Games, which is actually composed of the ex-Vigil Games team, which are, of course, the people that made the original Darksiders games to begin with. So, you were mentioning it's too bad Frankie's not here to talk about this. This is a game he's been talking about for a while and would be excited to see. So I know he's pumped to see Darksiders 3, but this is going to follow Fury, which is, of course, one of the other Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So, it's scheduled to release sometime in 2018. It's currently scheduled for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's set to be an open-world action-adventure that includes a focus on exploration and environmental puzzles and will continue the series' staple hack-and-slash combat. It's set around the same time as the events of Darksiders 2, which was released about 5 years ago. And it follows Fury's quest to destroy unique physical versions of the 7 deadly sins. As we mentioned, the ex-Vigil Games team is behind this as Gunfire Games now. They worked on Darksiders and Darksiders 2, and this includes the game director, executive producer, technical director, lead environment artist, and more. So they've got some of the heavy hitters from the first 2 Darksiders games working on this one here. This is of course via IGN. It's part of their IGN First promotion, so they've gotten access to Darksiders 3. The interesting thing was this game leaked a day early on Amazon. Like a listing showed up, and they had screenshots and descriptions of the game. And so at that point, the cat was out of the bag. So the next day, they officially started rolling with the Darksiders 3 official announcement. We got a trailer for the game. So it was a cinematic trailer. It was a couple minutes long, kind of set up the story. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Bender. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't. But didn't Darksiders 2 take place during Darksiders 1, or did it just take place after Darksiders 1, just with a different character? Is that what was going on?
I believe that's what Frankie said, because I've only played the first one, but I think that Frankie said that the second one takes place at the same time as the first one. It's like what, because the first one's about war, the second one's about death.
Yeah.
So it's what Death was doing at the same time that War was doing his thing. I think that's what Frankie said, but I'm not 100% sure. I still need to play the second one.
Okay, so we got the first one that happens, and this is the thing. And Frankie always talks about this, and you hear other people talk about this. But the first Darksiders comes out and has this like cliffhanger ending that people are like hanging on.
Mm-hmm.
So then Darksiders 2 comes out. Then they go back and they do this death thing, which is apparently happening at the same time Darksiders 1 is happening. So you don't get the next step in the Darksiders 1 ending with this one. And now with Darksiders 3, we get another game that's going on concurrently with the other 2 games, from what I understand. So people are still hanging on this ending, like wondering what's gonna happen. And I know you've played through the first game. Where are you waiting to see what happens after the end of that game as well?
I mean, the ending was pretty cool. It's I wasn't as stoked on it as Frankie is, but because I wasn't as stoked on the story as a whole as Frankie seems to be. But I mean, the game was fun. It's just, I didn't care about War as a character. I didn't think he was very interesting or exciting. I didn't think he was very relatable either. But I still enjoyed the game, so I mean, I'll definitely be interested in seeing what the story for this one is going to be. I feel like they're gonna really kick it up a notch, and from what I've seen in the gameplay, it looks like they're gonna improve on that as well. So we'll see.
Well, let's talk about what we saw. So we saw that initial trailer, which was a cinematic trailer, which kind of sets up the story. So what do you think about that? What do you think about what we see in a Fury? Like, she looks like a pretty cool character from what I can tell. I kind of like this idea of kind of fighting these physical embodiments of the 7 deadly sins. What do you think about what we've seen from the story trailer?
It sounds really cool to me. Fury looks like a really cool character. She seems very nimble and very acrobatic in the way she fights, and she's got that whip thing that she like swings around and everything. Looks really cool. I love the idea, the concept of them doing these physical embodiments of the 7 deadly sins. I think that's going to make for some really cool like character design for the bosses and everything. IGN has this gameplay reveal trailer where we get to see one of them, but I'm really going to be interested in seeing what all of those look like and everything. I can just imagine like Gluttony being like a big fat guy just eating everything or something. I don't know. But I think that's going to be mixed for some really cool characters that they can do with that.
Yeah, for sure. Let me. I want to read something. They have a hands-on preview, a written hands-on preview of the game as well on the site. I want to read a section from it that kind of ties into what we're talking about here with the 7 deadly sins. But this is from their hands-on, and it reads as follows: "Quote: We only saw one of the 7. This is the 7 deadly sins, of course. Sloth, who appeared as a giant, grotesque bug with a posse of smaller ones carrying him around on a chair, fitting with the sin's inherent laziness." Each of the environments is set to be shaped by each unique boss too, like their own versions of terraforming. As I delved further into Sloth's section of the map, things got murkier, and bugs started showing up more and more often. In that, each environment is intended to be reflective of the sin that inhabits it, or the character that does. One particular area, called Haven, is entirely shaped by the gorgeous, enormous tree that sits perched and glowing in the middle. It's a relatively safe area, and the roots that tendril their way through the city slowly get thicker towards the center, which presents its own creative navigation tool. So that kind of ties into what we're talking about, Bender. It seems like each individual area in this game is going to be kind of reminiscent or themed after the sin that they're representing, which sounds pretty cool. So we're going to get all these cool boss characters and all of these cool environments that are themed around all of the different sins. What do you think about that, man? Is that something you're down for?
Yeah, definitely. That sounds really cool. I actually didn't realize, I hadn't read that about the different environments actually being themed around the different bosses and the different sins. I think that's going to be a really cool thing for them as far as the world building and the world design. So yeah, that sounds awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. There's another snippet I wanna read here as well, and then we can talk about some of the other stuff that we saw. So this is another quote from the hands-on impressions of the game. So, quote: similar to the way Zelda expanded on its own core concepts in Breath of the Wild, if a puzzle exists in Darksiders 3, it should make sense in an environment rather than being a trap, some unseen character inexplicably laid out for the player for no logical reason. Don't expect any gated combat, and enemies, some of which existed in previous games, some of which are brand new, should feel a lot more like they belong in the world natively rather than just popping up inconveniently to fight you. Yes, there'll still be collectibles creatively scattered throughout the world, but no out-of-place chests, and ultimately, every inch of the world should feel more contextualized if all goes according to Gunfire's plan. So let me ask you this, Bender. As someone who's played through the first Darksiders, you reviewed the War Mastered edition for the site for us. What do you think about this? What do you think about making the world more organic, more contextualized, as opposed to more like gamey, I guess is the term that they would use. They want this to feel like more like a like a living, breathing world that's reacting to you rather than just something that's kind of pre-set up for you to go through. That's something you'd be down for?
Yeah, that sounds cool. And yeah, I heard her talking about this. I think this is Lana Pierce who wrote this article, and I heard her talking about it in one of the podcasts for that they do. And yeah, that's what she was saying, is that it's their goal is for all the puzzles to be something that's organic to the world, and like not something that looks like it was, somebody had put it there, but something that would be there anyway that you come across, which sounds really cool. So yeah, I like that idea of just coming across something that may look like something normal that you would see every day, but it turns out to be a puzzle or something or a hidden item or something like that. I think that sounds really clever.
Yeah, definitely. And you alluded to the gameplay trailer that we got to see as well. So not only did we get to see that initial reveal trailer, which gave us a little bit of the story and a cinematic to the game, but we got to see 12 minutes or so of the game in action in a pre-alpha form. And I gotta tell you, man, this looked great from what I saw. It looked like it was running great. It was 60 frames a second. So they're clearly going for the higher frame rate here, which is awesome. And like you said, Fury looks like a really unique character. She's fast-paced. She seems to be faster than what I've seen of the War character. I haven't seen too much of Death. He seemed like he was pretty fast-paced in his gameplay, but she's definitely faster than what I've seen of War. She, like you said, she's acrobatic. She's nimble. She seems like she's gonna have a lot of cool moves. They look to really take that kind of action arcadey feel and really take it up a notch with this game, I think. Is that kind of the vibe you're getting from what we see in the gameplay as well, or what else stood out to you in that gameplay trailer?
Yeah, she's definitely nimble. I like that her dodge move is kind of like a side jump where she like kicks her legs to the side and does a flip and everything. Like I mentioned earlier, she's got that whip, which is a very fast-paced weapon. I mean, War had the Chaos Eater blade, which was which was a sword that he could go pretty fast with, but I mean, it wasn't nearly as fast as this whip thing. I think just watching the trailer, I think the way that she moves and her combat reminds me a lot of like Catwoman from the Arkham games. The way that she fights and everything, it kind of gave me that same type of vibe. And
that's a good call.
Yeah, and for a pre-alpha video, that gameplay looked awesome. It looked really smooth and really cool. I really like the way they animate her hair. It just kind of flows like it's underwater or something. It just kind of flows behind her. I thought that was really cool. So there's definitely a lot of really cool stuff going on visually in this game. Yeah,
she looks like a badass. She the world, it looks to have that kind of Darksiders. It's always had kind of almost a comic book feel to it in some of the animation, and they look to keep that here, but it's taking up another notch. These worlds are really detailed. This is the first one that's being developed for the new gen systems from the ground up. It's actually the first game that's going to use the Unreal Engine as well, instead of their proprietary engine they've used in the past. So so they're taking it up a notch with the visuals here, and they look to be producing some stellar results. Like I said, they appear to be going for 60 frames on this game as well, which is really going to help out the fast-paced combat. Was the War Mastered edition, was that 60 frames, do you remember? Or was that the
I believe so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I thought I remembered reading something about that, so yeah, that's cool if they can keep that up with this game. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience with the Darksiders franchise. It's something I got to get into, but I like what I've seen of this here. This looks like a great start to the reveal of this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of this. I know Frankie's really excited about this. We'll talk to him about it, next week when he's back on the show and get some of his thoughts on it. But yeah, I don't know, man. It looks pretty good from what I can see here. So I think it's something to get excited about. You planning to go back through Darksiders 2 at some point?
I guess I'm gonna need to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to check that one out before this one comes out.
They actually they have a collection available now. It's available on the PS4, Xbox One. It's on Steam as well, I believe. But it's called Fury's Collection, and it houses both Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2. It's actually been on sale for this past week. I don't know if it'll still be on sale as you listen to this podcast, but it's a pretty good deal. I think it was like $20, and you get both of the games in there. And actually, I picked up that THQ Humble Bundle on the PS4 recently, which was $15 and included both of these Darksiders games as well as like 15 other games. So it was just an incredible deal recently for some of these THQ games and these Darksiders games included. So if you haven't picked these up recently on any of these deals, like, do so now. It's it seems to be the time to get into it and get ready for this game. We don't have a concrete release date or anything yet. We just have 2018 on it, but obviously they've been working on this for a little while. If it's coming out next year, so good stuff, man. Yeah, it's Darksiders 3 looking mighty fine so far. We'll keep our ear to the ground, and it's excuse me, it's IGN's featured game for the rest of the month here on their first program that they do. So we're sure to see more and more revealed about the game over the next few weeks. So if you're a Darksiders 3 fan, keep your eyes over there and see what becomes of that. Now, Bender, in the unconfirmed rumor mill, we have some Assassin's Creed stuff going on. And this comes via a Gematsu article, or Gematsu. How do you say that website? Gem or Gem?
Gematsu? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, they posted an article this week that actually was based on some rumors that were reported by WWG, which I believe was Worldwide Gaming. But we've got some fresh tidbits on the next Assassin's Creed game. It was previously rumored under the codename Assassin's Creed Empire, if you remember. So we talked about this before on the show. This is the rumored game that's set in Egypt. But it now will apparently be called Assassin's Creed Origins. It will be announced at E3 2017 in June, obviously, for a release later this year. That's according to WWG, as we said. And according to them in this Gematsu article, the game is said to be set in a vast open world of ancient Egypt. Its story apparently features two main characters, a man and a woman, and revolves around the original Assassin's Guild. It will reportedly offer a character progression system that one development source of WWG compared to The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Gameplay itself is said to place greater emphasis on exploration and offer more freedom over previous Assassin's Creed titles. The world is apparently huge in scope. It's said to be the biggest Assassin's Creed game to date. Naval combat will reportedly also return, which is interesting, allowing players to travel beyond Egypt, possibly even as far as Greece. An internal video of Assassin's Creed Origins, described to WWG, apparently shows scenes of Egypt before transitioning between different periods and locations throughout history, including an Asian country, World War II era France, and a modern-day Abstergo Industries facility, which of course is the company behind the Animus machine. It is unclear if this video will be shown to the public at some point. This comes on the back of another rumor, which we'll talk about in a second here. But let's talk about this for a minute, Bender. When this was originally talked about, I was kind of into the idea of Assassin's Creed taking on ancient Egypt. I feel like this is a time period and a setting that doesn't get much attention in video games. I think this is like an untapped thing, and there's a lot of cool stuff that can be done with ancient Egypt and some of the mythology that's around that time period. So what do you think about an Assassin's Creed game set in Egypt? Is this something that would pique your interest or something you might want to get into? I know you and I both haven't played too much of the Assassin's Creed games. This is another Frankie joint here. But would an Egypt set Assassin's Creed perk your ears up a little bit more?
It sounds intriguing for sure. I mean, yeah, I would at least like to learn more about it and see, a little bit more about what the story is and everything. Yeah, I've never played any of the Assassin's Creed games at all.
Okay.
I probably should try one out. I guess I'll have to talk to Frankie about which one I should try first. But yeah, the Egyptian thing sounds very interesting. I mean, I can imagine climbing up to the top of a pyramid or something, and I guess you can't jump off of the top of a pyramid though, like he jumps off those towers in the other games. Can he just kind of roll down?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to get quite the arc to jump off the top of a pyramid. Yeah. Also, not sure that there's any hay bales at the bottom of a pyramid to dive into.
Yeah. Just be a big pile of sand or something.
Figure out what to do about that. Yeah. Yeah, not sure how they would do that. But Yeah, what do you think about this idea too? That this could possibly like either span eras or span civilizations. I mean, including naval combat in here, and possibly allowing you to travel to Greece. What do you think about that idea, man? This sounds like a pretty sprawling epic, if that's the case.
Yeah, that sounds like could lend to some very a wide variety of different settings and time periods and everything. So that could be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And this also comes on the back of a rumor which was posted to Reddit. So there's a guy. Let's see. The Reddit user is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Sira Savath. He was a Reddit user. They're claiming to work with a company that creates pre-order cards for department stores, and they're claiming that through this they've discovered that not only Assassin's Creed, the next Assassin's Creed will be called Assassin's Creed Origins. That's where we got this name from. But also they have a pre-order card apparently for Far Cry 5 in development as well. So this is from Reddit from this guy. He said, quote, "The company I work for is involved with making pre-order cards for a couple of different department stores, and a few weeks ago there was a new order for Far Cry 5. There was also one for Assassin's Creed Origins. I saw some of the tentative artwork for the latter a few days ago, and it's the Egypt game that has been rumored to be called Empire." They went on further. "I didn't get to look at it for long, but it was art for a reservation card for a U.S. retailer. The game is called Assassin's Creed Origins and looks very much like it's set in Egypt. The artwork had a city with a pyramid in the background. In the center of the card, there is the new assassin walking toward the city. It looked like he was carrying a shield, a bow, and he had a hawk of some sort on his shoulder." There's also a gold version of the game. Last bit of note is the reservation is for the gold edition of the game, which has the base game, the season pass, and comes in a steelbook packaging. So Felsen, take note. No idea what the price will be. This isn't the first time that I found out about a game thanks to my work, and in past experiences, the game is usually announced before our printer ships the cards, or shortly after. I believe these are scheduled to be shipped on the 30th, so the official announcement should come by then. Interesting. So, I'm guessing is he talking about the 30th of this month, maybe? Which would be interesting.
Maybe.
Obviously, E3 doesn't happen until next month. So if he's talking about the 30th of May, then that would lead you to believe that these games would be announced prior to that. Which we could see them doing, and then they do the official reveal at E3. Like that's been a thing that publishers have looked to do in the recent past. Kind of announce a game and then do the official reveal at E3. So the other part of this is Ubisoft posted a Far Cry 3 tease of all things recently. So this is pointed out by IGN, but on its Facebook page, the developer posted a picture. This is Ubisoft posted a picture of the game's Rook Island setting. This is Far Cry 3 setting, along with a sentence in French that translates to "an island we never truly left." On its Instagram page, it adds, "Does that remind you of something?" It also linked a picture of Far Cry 3 villain and fan favorite Voss, accompanied by his most famous line of dialogue. It's not clear what Ubisoft is teasing here. Some online rumors have suggested Ubisoft will make a sequel or prequel to the third game's storyline, although these are by no means substantiated. A remaster is also possible, especially if the mainline series does indeed take another year to return. So this also leads fuel to this firebender. So we have Ubisoft teasing Far Cry 3 stuff, which is strange. So there could be a lot of things here. They could make a sequel to Far Cry 3. They could remake Far Cry 3 in honor of the game's 5-year anniversary. Some people have thought maybe this would be the case if there was no Far Cry available for this year, much like they did with Assassin's Creed last year, how they released the Ezio collection, in lieu of having an actual new Assassin's Creed game for us to play. So there's that. It could just be, maybe they're teasing Far Cry 5. Who knows, man? But clearly there's something going on at Ubisoft. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline here. It's been pointed out too that they have 3 unannounced AAA games that are still scheduled to be released prior to March of 2018. So there's still some games they got to tell us about. So they seem like they're going to have a pretty big E3 ahead of them, man. Do you have any experience with Far Cry at all? Is that a series you've ever gotten
No,
into?
it's yet another series that I've never experienced or never tried. So yeah, I really don't have much to say about it.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with it either, so this is another one I know Frankie's got into. Brent's played some Far Cry stuff, so they would have more to say about this. But a lot of stuff going on in the world of Ubisoft right now, so it's going to be a very interesting E3 for them. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling we might see something Splinter Cell from them as well. Maybe, possibly even a Scorpio Splinter Cell.
Interesting.
So we'll see what becomes of that. Obviously, they have South Park on the docket as well. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in the world of Ubisoft. They are primed to have a big time E3 conference if they can cut it in half this year. The last E3 conference they ran was about twice as long as it needed to be. So if they can trim the fat on this one, announce some of these big time games like a new Far Cry, a new Assassin's Creed, then I think they're onto something. All right, Bender, we're going to take a break now. We've got some new music from Ruel Ethan, so check that out. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break. And welcome back. Thank you again to Ruel Ethan for providing the music for the show. We really appreciate it. The fans really appreciate it. Does the opening, the closing, does the intermission music. We can't say thanks enough, man, for the great tunes that you provide for the show. So get on there, follow him on Twitter, check out his music. He's a talented dude, and we're happy to have him here. All right, Bender, let's move on with the news here. Something I wanna point out here is Code Vein got its official unveiling this past week. Now, this is probably not a game you're gonna get into, but this is a pretty sweet looking title. This is the latest. It's pretty crazy how Demon Souls has created this whole new subgenre in this kind of like brutally difficult 3D action game, whatever you want to call it. But Code Vein is the latest. That's going to be in the Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne type of vein. No pun intended. And Code Vein is kind of like if you were to take one of those games and maybe give it like a dark anime facelift. So it's got some vampires, it's got some cool anime aesthetic. The aesthetic in this game is awesome. this dilapidated, just dark, apocalyptic world. It looks to have the Dark Souls, Bloodborne kind of combat. Looks to be kind of fast paced. So I don't know. This game looks pretty rad, man. Just to put out a couple nuggets about it. It's a third person action RPG. It's a post apocalyptic world. It's kind of it seems to be overrun by vampires of some sort. It's developed by the team behind the God Eater series. It combines challenging combat with a massively interconnected world for players to explore. In Code Vein, you play as beings known as Revenants. These are vampire-like people who must feast on blood to power special abilities known as gifts. So this is via a pretty cool article on TrustedReviews.com, where they're kind of going over everything that we know about the Code Vein series so far. Right now, it's slated for a 2018 release date. So it got kind of its a teaser reveal a week or two ago. And then we got the official kind of full-on reveal trailer for it this week. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. We assume PS4 Pro and Scorpio will be part of the equation as well. It like I said, it appears to play like a Dark Souls, Bloodborne kind of a game, and it just looks really rad. So I definitely recommend go and check out the Bloodlust trailer. It's on YouTube right now, and if you're a Dark Souls fan, definitely keep your eye on that one. So even in the absence of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, we're still getting stuff like Neo, and stuff like Code Vein. Like, people love these games. They're still coming out. We're getting the Surge next week. So these kind of games are alive and well. So fans of the genre, fear not. Keep your eye on Code Vein. All right, Bender, let's talk Remedy now. So after much talk, after much conjecture and bandying about, it is officially confirmed that their next game will be a multi-platform title. So they've signed a publishing deal with publisher 505 Games, and they will work towards releasing their next game across a wide variety of platforms. So their next game is slated for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. It's got that code name of P7, which we've heard thrown around a little bit. So in a press release, Remedy basically said that, or they confirmed what kind of a game this is. So it's a cinematic third-person action game set in a new Remedy-created universe. It features an intriguing story and a game structure offering a long-lasting experience. P7 contains the deepest mechanics yet in a Remedy game. So they've confirmed this is not an Alan Wake game. It's not a Max Payne game. It's not a Quantum Break game. Like, this is a brand new Remedy created universe that they're creating under this code name of P7. The CEO of this is Rafael Galante, the CEO of Digital Brothers, speaking to the deal by saying, "It is a sign of how far 505 Games has come that we are now in a position to partner with such a talented development studio at Remedy Entertainment." Remedy's own CEO, Tero Vertala, also chimed in with, quote, "We have a strong vision of what P7 should be. 505 Games brings into this partnership experience and competences that help us successfully make this vision become reality together. Remedy is also investing in P7 and is deeply committed to creating a unique gaming experience that will keep the player engaged and playing for a long time to come. We are really excited to embark on this journey with 505 Games." Bender. So we have a new game from Remedy coming out. We don't know how far along this is, but it's coming multi-platform, so everybody's going to get to play this one. What do you think about what we've heard about this? What do you think about this game going multi-platform? You excited for this one?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds very intriguing. It's going to be a new world, new IP, I guess, with new characters and everything. Kind of depends on the setting and everything. I'll have to wait till we learn more. But I definitely loved Quantum Break. I thought that was a very cool game.
Yeah.
I don't think people talked about that game enough. I don't know if it probably didn't sell as well as it should have, but I thought that game was really good. It was really cool. So yeah, it depends on what it's going to be, but it just sounds interesting from what little we know about it so far. But and it's cool that it's multi-platform. I think that's always good for everyone to get a chance to play it.
Yeah. And I would imagine that Quantum Break sales probably have a little something to do with that. Like, that's probably why they wanted to seek a new publisher, get somebody that can get their game multi-platform, probably because of the sales of Quantum Break. You know, we've heard that it didn't sell, like you said, as well as they would have liked, or as well as Microsoft would have liked. What do you think about some of the stuff that we hear in this, though? A cinematic third-person action game set in a new Remedy created universe, so that's cool. But this idea of an intriguing story and a game structure offering a long-lasting experience. It also says the deepest game mechanics yet in a Remedy game. Obviously, you played Quantum Break, you liked it a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on in that game. What do you think about that? And what do you think? Do you think this is going to be an experience that builds off of what they did with Quantum Break, or might they go in a completely different direction?
I don't know. Just those kind of vague statements kind of make me think of that maybe it's like an RPG or something. Because like when I think of something that has a long-lasting experience, I mean, a lot of RPGs are very long.
Yeah.
Take a long time to beat, and the deepest mechanics of any Remedy game. I mean, RPGs often have very deep mechanics that you have to learn. That's just kind of my first impression of what they're saying. That I could be way off, but that's kind of the impression that I got from those statements.
Yeah. Yeah, think about that. What if they did a cinematic third-person action game, but did it as like an RPG, and really expanded on it and did this really epic, long-lasting story? They put these, all of these skill trees and RPG type of mechanics in. Is that something you'd be down for?
Yeah, definitely. That sounds cool to me. Yeah.
Would you like to see them continue the kind of integration of television and game that they tried with Quantum Break? Or do you think that's better left as just a one-off thing that game did? Or would you like to, if they tried to explore that a little bit more?
I'd be okay with if they did that again. I really liked that thing in Quantum Break. The TV show that they incorporated into it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was always fun to sit and watch it. It's kind of take a break from gameplay. It's like a reward for finishing that section of the story, and you just kind of get to sit and watch and it would play out differently depending on what your decisions were. So if they did something like that again, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm intrigued to see what they do with that. At some point, I would like to play Quantum Break myself. I know all you guys spoke pretty highly of it, so that's definitely one on my list that I want to get to at some point. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what becomes of this. I'm gonna keep my eye on P7 and Remedy and what they're moving towards, and hopefully they just build on what they've been doing for a long time. They've been doing these cinematic adventure games for a while now, so I'd imagine that this is going to be the next evolution of that, and I'm excited to see what becomes of that. So there's some creative dudes over there at Remedy. Let's move into Nintendo now, Bender. So the first thing we gotta talk about is this Breath of the Wild DLC. So the first DLC details were unveiled. So as we know, this is coming this summer, and it's part of the season pass. There's no other way to get this right now other than to get the $20 season pass. We have a few different things that are a part of this initial DLC pack. Well, I guess the initial one was that Treasures of the whatever they called that, where you got the different chests with the Nintendo Switch shirt was a part of that, which I know you couldn't wait to get your hands on, right?
I still haven't found it yet. I haven't even looked for it.
Yeah, no big rush to look for that one, right?
No.
All right. So as part of this first DLC pack, we're gonna get access to Trials of the Sword. This was previously known as the Cave of Trials Challenge. It includes 45 rooms in which players as Link must defeat all enemies from one room to another, first starting out without any armor or weapons. Defeating this challenge will ensure that the Master Sword will always be in its glowing, powered-up state. Does that get you excited?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty fun to try to work your way through those challenges, starting out with no weapons. I'm not sure how that'll work, but I think that'll be pretty fun.
45 rooms sounds pretty intense, man.
For sure.
So that sounds like that could be cool. How about this, the Hero's Path mode? This new map feature shows the path Link has walked through Hyrule from the last 200 hours of gameplay. Use the time tracker bar to see where you've spent the most time, where you have yet to explore. There's bound to be more adventures, maybe a shrine or two on the road less traveled. What do you think about that?
I love that, actually. That's really cool. I mean, most of us haven't gotten anywhere near 200 hours of gameplay, and I think that's cool. It's going to be retroactive, so even if you've already beat the game, I mean, I've already beat the last boss, but I haven't found all the shrines, so I think it'll be cool to be able to see all my path of everywhere I've gone, and then, there's bound to be areas where you're like, oh, I haven't even explored this area at all, so you can kind of head that way and try to see what you can find, in the areas that you haven't really touched yet. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I think that sounds like an awesome feature in a game that's this expansive, with this much to explore, with a world that's this huge, to be able to see where you've actually been. I hope this is something that more games like this would implement in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these big, sprawling, open world games, it's hard to keep track of where you've been. So, if this thing helps you do that and helps you figure out the areas you haven't explored, so that's one of the things that irritates me about open world games, is when you have these big, huge worlds. You're like, man, have I been here? Have I ran through this section like 4 or 5 times before? I can't really remember. So to have this all charted out for you is awesome. I can't wait to see that. Hard mode. In hard mode, enemies gradually regain health, so take them out as quickly as possible. All enemies are also powered up by 1 level. For example, red bokoblins in normal mode are now blue bokoblins. Enemies can also have higher maximum levels than they would in normal mode. Look up, and you may also find enemies and treasure chests in the sky. What's that all about?
Well, apparently there's going to be some, these big, planks or something hanging from balloons that you might find somewhere. So, if you're using your glider, you might have an enemy, trying to shoot at you or something. Or you might find a treasure chest or something floating around. I think that's interesting.
Interesting. So it's is it like a bokoblin airship or something, or what?
I
what
guess I'm not sure exactly. That's just this is just what I've heard. Is just some sort of things floating from balloons that you can find in the sky. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work.
Gotcha.
Sounds interesting though.
Yeah.
But the whole hard mode thing is it's a little weird to me, because it seems like something they should have just included in the game and not have to make it a DLC thing that they charge you for.
Yeah.
But I mean, having said that, it's fine. It's cool that they're putting it in there, and I don't know if I'll ever try it. The game is hard enough as it is, I think.
Yeah.
But it's cool that they're including it though.
Yeah. Does this game need a hard mode? Is that something people were clamoring for?
I wasn't. I don't know about other people, but I think the game is plenty hard as it is. I've died a lot throughout my time with that game.
Yeah. Would you say that game takes some of its cues from some of those Dark Souls mechanics in terms of the moment to moment combat, or some of the breakable weapons and some of the more, I don't know, kind of traditional RPG elements that we find in this game? Do you think that that because it has that type of element to it, that there's a group of people that are probably clamoring for an even tougher experience, like some of these people that love games like Dark Souls, that they would get into a mode like this?
Yeah, I'm sure there are people who are looking for that sort of experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, they might maybe take some cues from those types of games. The times that I really feel like I'm playing a Dark Souls game in Zelda is when I'm fighting a Lino, because those things are freaking tough to fight. Yeah, they wreck me every time. But man, I can't imagine fighting one of those guys and their health regenerates. That's insane. I can't imagine that. But yeah, I'm sure there are people out there who's like, man, I wish this game was harder.
Well, their wish is going to be granted with this DLC pack here.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's this travel medallion. So somewhere in the world, there's a chest with a travel medallion inside. When you use this, you can register your current location as a fast travel point on the map. You can only register one location using the travel medallion. So you can have one location at a time that's set up according to this travel medallion. What do you think about that, man? Is that going to be useful for you?
Yeah, it could be pretty useful, because there may be some sort of place that you visit often, or some sort of landmark that doesn't have a shrine near it, or doesn't have any kind of a warp point. So you can use that thing to drop a warp point there, and that'll be pretty useful if it's something you're going to want to come back to. And yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Is there a specific area you can think of right now where you're like, man, this travel medallion would be really useful because there's no shrines in this area, I always want to go back there? Is there any particular spot you can think of?
Not specifically, but you may find a shrine that you haven't finished yet. The shrine does not become a warp point until you complete it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be something that's useful if you find a shrine that you're like, oh, I don't know how to solve this one right now, and I want to go do something else and come back. You could drop a warp point there and come back to it, and then, once you finish the shrine, you can pick up the medallion, drop it somewhere else. So, that's an application I could think of for an item like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. I could definitely see that. So there's one of those hiding out in the world somewhere after this DLC. And then there's more armor. So we've got the Phantom armor based around the Phantom Hourglass. There's the Majora's Mask, Midna's helmet, obviously from Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess. You got Tingle's outfit, which I know you can't wait to get your hands on. So get Link dressed up as Tingle. But there's 8 treasure chests placed around Hyrule containing armor themed after previous The Legend of Zelda titles. Watch for tips as to the whereabouts of these chests as you travel around Hyrule. Then, Bender, there's the Korok mask, which I assume a lot of people are going to be into. The Korok mask is also hidden in a treasure chest somewhere in the world. While wearing this mask, it shakes whenever Link is near a hidden Korok location. There are 900 Koroks hiding in Hyrule, so this should help you discover quite a few of them. So I imagine this, along with the Hero's Path, are going to help people locate these Korok seeds, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking, man, the Korok mask and the Hero's Path, those working together, that's going to lead to being able to find a lot more of those things. I still don't think I'm going to go for all 900 of them, but it'll definitely help to be able to find them if you're exploring and things start shaking. You're like, oh, there's something nearby, and you can kind of look around for it. But yeah, I think that's an awesome item. That's definitely going to make it worth the price of admission.
Yeah. So it seems like a lot of stuff that's going to make people's... It seems weird to say this because hard mode's being added as part of this, but it seems like a lot of this stuff's going to make people's life easier in Breath of the Wild and being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish now. So overall, what do you think about what we see in this first DLC pack here? Is this worth the $20? Considering that there's other stuff still to come, what do you think?
Yes, considering that there is going to be more stuff to come later on, it's definitely worth the $20. I think the stuff we're getting now is cool, and it's going to help us to explore the world a little more and find things we haven't found yet while we're waiting for that other DLC. But the second DLC is what I'm really excited for, because it's going to have a new dungeon, a new story content, and stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool. But this is going to be some fun stuff to tide us over until we get to that one. Yeah.
It seems like this stuff is going to help you kind of finish out everything that's in the game right now. Finish getting your Korok seeds and your shrines and all that kind of stuff, and almost setting the stage for this next expansion pack, which is gonna, like you said, add the dungeon and the story stuff and the new meat to the game that people are waiting for. So yeah, sounds like a good plan. I think $20 is totally reasonable for all this stuff, and like we talked about, there's more stuff coming in the future. So I think this is something definitely to get excited about. So this is the expansion pack 1, and right now we just have summer, right? We don't have any specific month or anything related to this right now.
Yeah.
So I imagine probably as part of their E3 presentation, they'll detail some specific dates for these items. What do you think's a good time to, if they release this stuff in the summer? When's a good time to release the dungeon and the extra story content? Do they go for this fall when they're releasing Mario and whatever else they have planned, or do they save this for next year? Do you kind of stretch out the Breath of the Wild experience even more? What do you think?
I hope they don't save it for next year. I'm pretty sure they said it was going to be coming out this year, both of them. I don't know. I could see them doing something maybe sometime in the fall, maybe shortly before Mario Odyssey comes out. Because if Mario Odyssey comes out in November, maybe they release it like in October or something like that, and give us some time to play through the new Zelda content before that game comes out. That'd be fine. I don't know. Maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right now they just have it listed as holiday 2017 for that DLC pack too. So yeah, we'll see what becomes of it. We'll see what the plan is. Also, another Breath of the Wild nugget here. The new patch released this past week. So patch 1.2, it actually allowed players to choose the language in the game. So you can now choose between 9 different languages that are built into the Switch version of the game. The Wii U version will have to players will have to download a voice pack from the eShop to utilize that feature. So English, French, and Canadian, German, Italian, Spanish, Spain and Latin America, Russian, and of course Japanese are all selectable now in the game. So pretty cool. Let's move on from Zelda now, Bender. Let's talk about Mario Kart again. And shocking, pretty much shocking no one is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been a rousing success. So the day one launch figures for Mario Kart 8 here in the States, 459,000 copies. This is both physical and digital, and it makes it the fastest selling Mario Kart game ever. Deluxe outshines the previous holder of the record, Mario Kart Wii, which sold approximately 433,900 units on its launch day back in 2008. Which is crazy to think about, because we know how the Wii was and the phenomenon that was, and when Mario Kart Wii came out, that system had been out for what, a year already by the time that came out?
Yeah, something like that.
So the fact that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold even more than Mario Kart Wii, which was a huge title, I don't know what the final numbers were on that game, but I feel like that game sold like 40 million copies. Just something absurd. There was a ridiculous amount of Mario Kart Wii sold. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe off to a huge start, man. In fact, worldwide, after its first weekend, over 1 million copies sold of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I got a couple questions with this. So what do you think about what this means for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And we talked about this before, but we anticipated the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe attach rate was going to be extremely high with the Switch. Like, people bought the Switch for Zelda. They've been playing that game for a long time. They're ready to move on to something else. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe comes along. It's the perfect game for the Switch. So people are jumping on this and hopping into it. So what do you think about that? Plus, what do you think about what this means for the future of like Wii U ports on this system? Obviously, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is finding a new audience on the Switch, and I'm guessing a lot of people probably didn't play Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. Maybe they did. And I don't know exactly the demographics of who has actually bought the Switch at this point. If it's mostly like your hardcore Nintendo fans, or it's a lot of people that haven't owned a Nintendo platform recently. But there's clearly a market for some of these Wii U titles that a lot of people didn't get a chance to experience. So does this make it even more likely that we see a lot of these rumored Wii U ports like Super Mario Maker or Smash Brothers, those kind of things? Do we see that kind of stuff? Or do you think maybe they shy away from this in favor of making some actual like new Switch experiences? What do you think, man? Do you think we're going to start to get some more of these Wii U games on here?
I think they're kind of going to have to, or I think they probably should, at least with some of the better Wii U games. I could see them kind of porting those over. I think Mario Maker and Smash Brothers are a given. I think those are definitely coming at some point. But I could see them doing a few others, maybe possibly Xenoblade Chronicles X or something like that, in anticipation of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Something like that. I'm not sure which other ones would be appropriate, but I think it'd be good for them to re-release at least some of these. Just because there weren't enough people who had a chance to experience them because they didn't have a Wii U. So yeah, some of those Wii U games deserve to be played, and really need to get out there to people, and I think they definitely should. I don't think they should do too many of them. I don't think every Wii U game deserves to be ported, but some of the better ones definitely need to be, have some more exposure.
Yeah. Let me ask you about this too, man. As a Nintendo fan, as a big time Nintendo fan, somebody who buys all of their platforms, has followed them for a very, very long time, is there going to be a point where you're like, all right, enough with the Wii U ports, or are you game for whatever they decide to bring over? You know, so for instance, if they bring over a Mario Maker and a Smash Brothers and a Xenoblade and even if they reach into like Captain Toad or one of these other obscure games that people like, maybe Bayonetta 2. Like, is there gonna come a point where you're like, all right, look, I'm a Nintendo fan. I've been with you guys for a long time. I've played all these games already. I'd like to see some new games on the Switch. Or are you totally on board with however many games they want to bring over to the platform? Are you gonna feel slighted if they just keep bringing these Wii U ports over?
If they kind of go overboard with it, then yeah, I probably will start going. I'd start feeling like it's a little fishy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, would you feel slighted, like they're catering to the newer crowd as opposed to people that have been with Nintendo for a long time?
No, not necessarily. I mean, because I know they're also doing new stuff, new games and stuff that I'm looking forward to. Like I mentioned, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 comes to mind. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But it also depends on what they do with the ports. If it's a game that I know I'm probably if it's a game I've played and I probably won't play it again, I'm not going to bother. But certain titles like Mario Maker and Smash Brothers are kind of like evergreen titles. I mean, those are games that you could keep playing forever and never get tired of them. So I think that's why I think those are definitely coming. Other ones, it depends on what they do. If they bring new content to them, like for example, if they brought Pikmin 3 over to the Switch, that was a game on the Wii U. If they added new levels to it or something, and had some more additional content that they added in, great. I might want to pick that up and revisit that game to experience the new stuff. But if it's the exact same game, I've already played that game. I'm not going to bother. Yeah. So it kind of depends on what they do with it. But certain ones I think definitely need to come over and be ported to the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of torn on it because I didn't have a Wii U, so I there's a lot of games on there that I would like to play, and I think would be cool if they brought them over to the Switch. But at the same time, I want to see them do new and exciting stuff on the system as well. So I'm not gonna balk if they bring some of these titles over because I don't have any of them, and it's cool to play them. And obviously, Mario Kart shows that there's a market out there for some of these Wii U games that people either haven't had a chance to play, or if they do it in the way that they did Mario Kart 8 and juice it up with a lot of additional content, people can get excited about it even if they already own the Wii U version, like yourself. So there's a couple different routes they can go, and I guess if they take the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe route, they could just keep doing this, and both parties would continue to be satisfied, right? If they continue to release Wii U games and juice them up with this extra content, like, you're going to get excited about it, and the people that haven't played it are going to get excited about it as well. So that's probably the kind of the way to go if they can swing it. Do you think that there's kind of a statute of limitations or a point of no return on when they can tap into these Wii U ports? So for instance, if we don't see Smash Brothers this year or Mario Maker this year, do you think at that point they're just off the table and we just wait for a new iteration of either of those series, like on the Switch? Or do you think it really doesn't matter, they could bring them over at any time?
No, I think there's probably some sort of a limit to how long they would wait before they would just start working on a new one. I would imagine if we don't see Smash Brothers this year, or at least have it announced this year, we would probably just wait for the next one. Although I don't know if Sakurai is going to be doing another one anytime soon. So, I mean, they may still bring it. For Smash Brothers, that might be a unique situation. They may still bring it out, even if it's not this year, as some sort of a port of the Wii U version. Mario Maker, I don't know. I think they could if they made a sequel, I don't know what they would do to it. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess add the Mario 2 assets maybe from the US version of Mario 2, which was
We
missing.
we can all make wart like we've always
Yes,
wanted to.
exactly.
Make our own wart level.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that though, because the physics were very different in that game as far as the jumping and stuff, especially with Luigi.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure if they would do that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Like, I guess depending on the game, they may just wait. If they're not going to do it now, they may just wait until they come up with the next iteration of that game.
Yeah. Now, I just thought of something too. Do you think we're gonna get another Mario Kart for the Switch, or do you think that they're gonna be like, well, we already brought the Mario Kart out from the Wii U and we added enough stuff to it that this is going to be the Mario Kart for the Switch, or do you think that we're gonna be able to get another one before it's all said and done?
I don't know. They might do another one at some point. Maybe not like anytime soon, but I mean, maybe a couple years down the road, after the Switch has been out for a while, they might kind of try to release another one. I can't think of any consoles or handhelds that have had 2 Mario Kart games on them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they would do that or not.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, I could see it because, you know, this is the Wii U version of the game. They just, you know, like we said, they ported it over, but it's also kind of, you know, they added stuff to it, so it's kind of like a Switch game. So I don't know, man. It's a tough call, but I feel like sometime down the line, like a few years down the line, like you said, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we could see Mario Kart resurface on the Switch once again. See how all that goes, though. Do you think E3 is the time that we see this stuff? Like, if we don't see Smash Brothers at E3, do you think it's not going to be a thing?
With Nintendo, you never know. I mean, they
Who knows?
yeah, they're like, thinking of last year. Like, sometimes you'll be like, oh well, they're definitely going to announce this at E3. Then they do a Nintendo Direct like 2 weeks before E3, and then announce something, and then they don't have anything substantial in their E3 presentation. It's like, why didn't you just wait?
Yeah.
So you just never know. They could just bust out with some random Nintendo Direct to announce something. I have no idea.
Who knows? Yeah, I personally, I'd love to see Mario Maker and Smash Brothers on the Switch. I love Smash Brothers. It's one of my favorite Nintendo properties. I've thought about it for a long time of buying a Wii U just to have Smash Brothers, but I just couldn't force myself to pull the trigger on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to get Smash Brothers on the Switch. I would love to get Mario Maker on there as well. I think that game looks totally rad, and I love all the games that are featured on there, especially Super Mario World. So I get to play all those levels would be a hoot, especially on the go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully they figure out a way to do that. Like you said, it just makes sense for those titles to go ahead and do that. So all right, let's move on from there. We got some more Nintendo stuff to talk about. How about this, Bender? This rumored Mario Rabbids RPG is back in the news again. This comes via Kotaku, and they're corroborating basically what we've heard in the past about it. So, quotes from the Kotaku article: one of the fall's big Nintendo Switch games will be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, a game that has been rumored for quite some time and does indeed exist, as confirmed by art assets provided to Kotaku. The game will mix Nintendo's iconic Plumber and Friends with characters from Ubisoft's popular Rabbids series. Although the person who sent the assets asked us not to share them, they corroborate the existence of a bizarre crossover RPG that's currently scheduled to come to Switch in either August or September. Ubisoft is developing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle on the publisher's proprietary Snowdrop engine, which is what's powering the Division. According to the assets we've seen, the game's selling points appear to be A, turn-based combat, B, two-player local co-op, and C, a goofy sense of humor. The art we've seen features Mario and crew wielding guns that shoot laser beams. The game will apparently have 8 playable characters: Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, and bizarrely 4 Rabbids dressed up as Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Peach. This game was famously originally reported by Laura Kate Dale some months back. So we talked about this prior to the reveal of the Switch Bender, and this this kind of weird idea of the Mario and Rabbids getting together. So what do you think, man? So I think it's pretty clear that this is real at this point. Several people are reporting this. We've heard it from multiple sources that this is a thing now. Apparently, it's going to be revealed at E3 officially this year. What do you think about this idea, man? Does this have some promise? What do you think about the idea that Ubisoft's developing it, not Nintendo? Where you at on this, man?
I don't know. Tough to say. I'm kind of on the fence because I really love Mario RPG games.
Uh-huh.
The Mario and Luigi games, the Paper Mario games are always really cool. The Rabbids, I'm like, I don't know. I played Rayman Raving Rabbids. I think that's the only game I played featuring them, and it was fun. But and I love how it says characters from the popular Rabbids series. I'm like, they're all the same character.
All the Rabbids
they're like
look
the
Minions.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At least the minions have some little things to distinguish them. I mean, some of them have one eye, some of them have two eyes. All the Rabbids look the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they all look like demented bunnies.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's something that could be good or it's something that could be terrible. I think I'm gonna have to wait and see a trailer for it and then just kind of decide. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Is there a chance that this has that Mario RPG sense of humor and it plays like one of those, or do you think that this is gonna have a completely different feel because it's not developed by Nintendo?
I
That
don't
kind
know.
of defeats the whole purpose, right? I mean, that's kind of like their kooky Nintendo thing when they make these games. Is Ubisoft going to be able to deliver that kind of a game?
Maybe. I don't think all of the Mario and Luigi games. I don't think were developed by Nintendo either. I think the Nintendo just published them. I forget who developed them. So I mean, it's possible for them to do a good job if they tell a good story and have the humor in there. I think it could be good, but I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up too much for it.
Yeah,
because it could also be terrible. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Do you think this is a game that could move some units? Like, is this going to be a game that gets people excited, or do you think this is just even if it's really good, this is just kind of a niche thing?
I think it's more of a niche thing, probably. I mean, sure, it's got Mario characters, but the Rabbids, I mean, I don't think they're even really popular anymore. At least not in this country. I've heard people say that they're really popular still in like France or somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, but I can't think of. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any popular games they've been in since Rayman Raving Rabbids.
Yeah.
I don't know what else they've been in, but I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be interesting at the least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's pretty clear that this is a real thing at this point. So I would anticipate E3 probably during the Nintendo briefing or whatever. I don't think Ubisoft would trot this out at their own thing. Maybe they would. I don't know. But with the Mario characters, I feel like this is probably more of a Nintendo reveal than a Ubisoft conference reveal.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see how it all plays out. All right, keeping with Nintendo here, we've got the Fire Emblem Echoes Season Pass detailed. Bender, I know you don't have a lot of experience with Fire Emblem. Are you looking to try out any of these ones in the near future? Like, is Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, is that something that you're interested in at all? Have you played the mobile version at all? Is this a franchise you want to dig deeper into?
I do want to try it out. I downloaded the mobile game, but I never really played it at all.
You know, I'm actually in the same boat. I downloaded it and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try one of these Fire Emblem games, and haven't done a damn thing with it.
Yeah. Game is still on my phone. I just haven't really. I have booted it up, but I haven't. I actually jumped into a single game. So
yeah,
I guess I'm gonna need to try that out. Maybe that'll be my jumping in point for the Fire Emblem. It'll be a simplified kind of version of it, and then I can decide if I want to jump into one of the core series games. And I don't know. Yeah, that could be a good plan.
Yeah, so Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia. This comes out in a few weeks here. This is the remake, I guess, of one of the. This was a Famicom Fire Emblem at some point. But yeah, so this is coming out in a few weeks. The season pass has been detailed. $45 for this thing, dude. This And this apparently saves you 30% by buying the season pass. So some very pricey DLC content for this game, but yeah, several packs that include new maps, dungeons, tons of stuff. You can check out Nintendo's website and see all the different packs. But yeah, they're pricey. They range anywhere from $13 to looks like $6, and everything between $6 and $15. Excuse me, and everything in between. So some pricey stuff here, but you get a lot of additional content. If you're looking to get into that and you like the Fire Emblem games, definitely check out the season pass, which is $45, and once again saves you 30%. Also, Bender, news that Fire Emblem Echoes will be the last mainline Fire Emblem game for the 3DS. So this is according to an interview with Dengeki Nintendo, where Hitoshi Yamagami talked about the franchise's future and ruled out future 3DS games. So I ask you, sir, does this bring us closer to the official end of the 3DS? I mean, if there's no more Fire Emblem games that are going to be on there, is this just a matter of the next one they're making is going to be for the Switch, or do you think we're getting close to the 3DS being wrapped up here?
Well, we already know they are working on one for the Switch, so
yeah.
If they're confirming that there's going to be no more 3DS ones, then that could be one step closer to the unified development that we all want on the Switch, where everyone's working on that on one machine.
Yeah.
I think the real test is going to be what they do with Pokemon. If the next Pokemon game is Switch exclusive, then you're going to know, okay, they're really kind of shifting gears here. Although they have confirmed that they're going to be making 3DS games at least throughout 2018. We'll have to wait and see how far they push it past that, but yeah, it's gonna depend on what else they do, and I think Pokemon's gonna be the real test.
Yeah, I mean the next Pokemon they gotta put it only on Switch, right? I mean that's a unit driver right there.
Yeah, if they want it to push units, then they need to put it on Switch exclusively.
I mean it just seems so easy, right? If you take the next Pokemon game and you put it only on the Switch, like if you don't have a Switch and you only have a 3DS, like that's on every kid's Christmas list at that point, right? Like I have to get a Switch and the new Pokemon game. That just makes too much sense. So I think that's definitely the case. What about this though? What if they do this rumored Pokemon Stars? That's kind of the third pillar in the Sun and Moon franchise or series of games, and they do that one on the 3DS as well. Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility for sure. I can see them doing that. I just, even if I don't know. I think even if they put that one exclusively on Switch, that would still be good and would be a system seller. But I can totally see them putting it on 3DS or maybe both 3DS and Switch. Because I don't know. They just don't seem to want to give up on 3DS just yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you think that'll be a theme when they said they're going to talk about some games on the 3DS at the Nintendo E3 briefing or whatever they're going to call it, whatever direct that they do. Do you think that's going to be a theme that we'll see, that a lot of these games that are still coming to 3DS are going to show up on the Switch as well, or do you think we're still going to see a whole bunch of 3DS exclusive games? Do you get a feeling one way or another? Does Nintendo have any precedent for doing that across multiple systems in the past when they have a new device out?
I could definitely see them coming out with some 3DS exclusive games, and I think they're not quite done with that thing yet. Even though I haven't touched my 3DS hardly at all since I bought the Switch, so I could
kind of hard to go back to it, right?
Yeah, I know. Although I do want to pick it up for I want to play that new Pikmin game, and I want to play I think I want to play Ever Oasis, which as far as I know is only coming to 3DS. So those are two games I'm interested in that I might pick up my 3DS to play. But other than that, I mean, I wish those games were on the Switch. I want to play the Switch primarily. I want to have everything on it. But yeah, I could definitely see them still announcing some exclusive 3DS games at this event.
Yeah, I'm curious if the stuff that we're seeing from the 3DS right now is stuff that's been in development for a while and people are kind of finishing up, or if they're still actively like starting new 3DS projects and working on 3DS projects concurrently with the Switch. Do you get a sense one way or another from Nintendo? You think?
It could be just games that have been in development already, and they know that there's ones that are still going to be coming out throughout 2018, and that's probably why they said that. That could be the case. I don't know if anyone would be starting any new 3DS projects, but I wouldn't put that past them either. So you just never know with the Nintendo.
Yeah. So I think E3 is probably going to be pretty telling for that kind of stuff. If we see some like big time games that are 3DS only or whatnot, like that's going to give us an indication of what we're looking at for the future of that system and how far into 2018 the 3DS is going to be a main pillar for them. Mm-hmm. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Speaking of that 3DS, how about this, Bender? There's a rumor that Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga may be coming to the 3DS in the form of a Deluxe DX version. So this is as reported by Kotaku, but data miner Skyers M, that's how you say that, claims to have discovered information regarding Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga DX in a 3DS database last week, and has since dug up an icon of the alleged game, which he posted on Twitter. These data miners and some of these guys that find this stuff are just incredible, man. I don't know how they do this stuff. But he dug this out of a 3DS database and then found an emblem for it as well, which is wild. So it's this is from the IGN article that describes this, but they continue on. Quote, "It's worth noting that the Ever Oasis icon, pictured alongside the one for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga DX, hadn't been seen before this Twitter post. Kotaku has since verified the validity of the Ever Oasis icon by confirming it's the same one found in a demo that Nintendo showcased at an event in New York this week. As such, this gives further weight to the likelihood that Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga DX is in fact real." So I ask you, Bender, why is this not on the Switch?
I don't know. That's
if they're gonna do a remake of an old game, why not put it on the Switch, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially since it was a game that was on Game Boy Advance, not the 3DS, so the two-screen thing isn't going to be an issue. Yeah, I think that if they had put Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on the Switch with upgraded graphics with more pixels or whatever, so it doesn't look all grainy when on a bigger screen. That would have been awesome. I don't know why they wouldn't put it on the Switch.
Do you remember this game? Did you play this one?
I do.
On the GBA?
Yeah, I do. I love this game. This game is
really.
It's so funny. The combat is really cool. It's you play as Mario and Luigi. You jump with A, so you press A to jump with Mario, press B to jump with Luigi. And it's an RPG, so it's turn-based battles. You've got the action commands, kind of like in the Paper Mario games or the old Super Mario RPG game on Super Nintendo, that sort of thing, where you have to press A at the right time to get extra damage, or you can block attacks if you have a well-timed button press. So yeah, the Mario and Luigi games are always really cool, but the first one has a special place in my heart because it was so charming and so cool, and I just loved it so much.
Gotcha. So, unfortunately, this special place in your heart looks like it may have to be on the 3DS.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you'll have to dig out your system for this one as well, maybe.
Oh,
so
wow.
we can anticipate an announcement about this in the near future. I'm guessing this could be another E3 reveal for the 3DS. So we'll keep our eyes on that. A couple other Nintendo notes here. Thumper, the rhythm violence game as it's described, is coming to the Switch on May 18th, so that's cool. Brent loves that game. Heard a lot of good things about that one. And then one final Nintendo nugget here. How about this, Bender? Nintendo has filed a trademark for a Bowser spin-off game. So this is via My Nintendo News. They wrote a story that picked up on this trademark that was filed by Nintendo in Japan for a game called Koopa, which is Bowser's Japanese name. So, what do you think, dude? Could Bowser get his own game? Is this just I don't know what else this could be other than his game, because I assume if it's called Koopa in Japan, it would be called Bowser here, right? That's the logical conclusion to make. So, what do you think about a Bowser game, and what would that game entail, do you think?
I don't know. I could see it being a thing. I mean, all the other main characters in the Mario series have had their own game. Luigi's Mansion, Super Princess Peach, Captain Toad. So they've all had their own games. So I could see a Bowser game being a thing, and I don't know what sort of game it would be. I mean, he's a big lumbering dinosaur who breathes fire, so I'm not sure what he could do. He's not very fast, so I mean, It wouldn't be like a quick like action-y type game, I don't think. So I'm really not sure what type of game it would be, but Bowser can be pretty funny sometimes, depending on how he's written. So it's it could be a cool thing.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with it either, but Nintendo, they're the people to do it. They've got a crazy mind, and their development teams work in mysterious ways. So if anybody can figure out how to make a cool Bowser game, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe another E3 thing for the future. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the Nintendo portion of the show. Let's talk about a few PlayStation things briefly here, Bender. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, that Zombie Chronicles DLC that we've talked about the past few weeks, it's a real thing. So it's a reality. It's coming to PlayStation 4 first. The content actually hits May 16th. So I tell you what, dude, May 16th, when we do the releases list next week, is huge. Just a huge release list full of just blockbuster titles. And this is one more blockbuster thing to add to the proceedings. But those 8 remastered zombie maps, all coming to Black Ops 3 now. So this is, basically a love letter from Treyarch to the Call of Duty community. They love Black Ops, especially Black Ops 3. I mean, this game still gets played tons today, even with the Modern Warfare Remastered and Infinite Warfare games out now. So this is a sweet pack, like we talked about. The ability to have the whole entire zombie saga in remastered form for Black Ops 3 is pretty cool. There's a live stream coming on May 8th to tease and dole out even more details about this Zombie Chronicles DLC. So be on the lookout for that. If you are a Call of Duty fan, May 8th is this upcoming, Monday? So Monday, you'll be able to check out a stream of that and see what that's all about. Bender, so zombies action, man?
Meh.
Is that no?
Nah.
Co-op zombies?
No, never been big on zombies.
Yeah. I think you'd actually get down with that, man. It's a fun mode when you're playing with people that you know. You guys are coordinating your attacks and trying to figure out how to do things. So, I'm gonna have to fire that up one day together and see how that goes. We also have a date and time announced now for the PlayStation's E3 conference. So, obviously, Microsoft has moved their day to the day before. There's lots of moving and shaking in terms of the E3 schedule. EA has got their own, separate event now. Nintendo, we thought they might do a conference. They're doing a presentation or a direct again. But PlayStation has stayed tried and true. They will still be there on Monday. They will still be there at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern. So they'll be in their usual spot, and they'll be in the Shrine Auditorium and Expo Hall in Los Angeles, which I believe they're usually in there, or they've been in there before. I can't remember where they were at last year. But so business as usual for Sony, man. What do you think about that? Does it make sense for them to stay there? To me, it does. They've kind of staked their claim to that spot. Microsoft has, they're the ones that have moved, and other people have moved out from around them. But I think they stay pat just where they are. They've proven successful there in the past, and I don't see any reason for them to move their date and time. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So we'll look forward to that on Monday evening. Man, dude, we're getting close to E3, man. And that hasn't really set in for me yet, but it's May. Next month is E3.
Yeah.
Like it's coming up quick. So, we'll be covering it. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage of all the conferences and reaction videos and all that kind of stuff like we do every year. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I've got our predictions coming up pretty soon here. So we're just a few podcasts away from having to predict what's going to happen on this year's show. exciting times, man.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in the world of PlayStation, Zero Time Dilemma is now confirmed to be releasing for the PS4 this fall. So this is something we talked about when the recent Nunnery Games trilogy, or not trilogy, but the Nunnery Games was released for the PS4. It had 999 and Virtue's Last Reward on there, but it didn't have the last part of the trilogy. So we were wondering, well, if you're a PS4 player, it's kind of weird that you're only going to get the 2 parts of it and not be able to play the last part of it, which this part was already on the Vita. Now it'll be on the PS4. It's releasing later this year in the fall, so Zero Time Dilemma will make its way over and be remastered in HD for the PlayStation 4. So good news for fans of those games. The Long Dark is now arriving on the PlayStation 4 on August 1st. This is actually the day the game will come out of its beta state or its game preview state on the Xbox One, and I believe on Steam as well. So August 1st, this is was actually one of the first ever game preview games on Xbox One. Very interesting looking title about surviving in this kind of apocalyptic Canadian just tundra, like wasteland. So very interesting looking title. It's a first person survival game. You've got to take into account clothing and food and supplies and all that kind of stuff. And there's also this whole entire story mode that they're adding into this game where it's an episodic story mode, and each episode is said to be about 5 hours in length, which is huge for an episodic story game. You seen this one at all, Bender? Do you ever get into these survival games?
I don't really have any experience with any survival games that I can think of, but I did see the trailer for this game. It does look pretty cool. I think it looks interesting with the setting and everything, and it's going to be like an episodic thing with a story mode, or you can play in survival mode, which is really cool. So yeah, I might want to check this one out.
Yeah, so they've got those 2 distinct modes. One of them's, like you said, the survival. It's like this big sandbox where it's just about you surviving as long as you can with the, utilizing the game mechanics and getting away from bears and all that kind of stuff. And then they have this what appears to be, from the way they talk about it, this really deep narrative mode, which is going to take into account some really interesting characters and this interesting setting and really do some big things with it. So, I'm really curious to see how this one turns out, man. The first 2 episodes are going to be available on August 1st, I believe. Like I said, they're said to be about 5 hours apiece. So that's a ton of story content. Then the subsequent episodes 3, 4, and 5 will be coming later this year and into 2018. That will extend the story even further. So keep your eye on that one. Sounds an interesting looking title. Another game that sounds awesome is this Seasons After Fall. And once again, this is a May 16th release. I'm telling you, man, that day is nuts. But May 16th is going to see Seasons After Fall, which is a beautiful-looking, hand-painted title that's been on the PC before. It's coming over to the PS4 next week, and this is probably one I'm going to fire up on the Indie Spotlight, because this game looks awesome. Just looks incredibly beautiful. Uses this really cool puzzle mechanic of switching between the seasons to figure out how to get from one place to another. So you have this kind of magical fox who can, at will, change between winter, summer, fall, and spring. So I don't know. It looks like it could have some Metroidvania elements to it as well. But I'm really stoked to play this, dude. What do you think about this one, Bender?
I think this one looks awesome. Yeah, it looks right up my alley. I mean, it's a platformer with puzzle-solving elements where you can change the environment and everything, and it has a hand-painted or hand-drawn type of art style. Looks really pretty and everything. So it's definitely one I'm gonna have to keep on my radar.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really looking forward to that one. So, early peek into what we're thinking about for the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight a couple weeks from now. So we'll be on the lookout for that on May 16th. A couple other PlayStation nuggets here. A new patch arrives for Horizon Zero Dawn next week, which is gonna juice up the photo mode even further. Dude, have you seen some of these pictures that you can take in this photo mode? It's incredible, man. That one of Aloy like laying in the field of flowers. Just like chilling is an incredible looking photo. So they're gonna boost that up even more. As a couple other things they're doing with the game as well. So be on the lookout for that next week. Team action game Smashbox Arena is making its way over to PlayStation VR this summer. It's on other VR platforms right now, I believe. Yeah, very interesting looking arena shooter. You can dodge bullets and shoot bullets of your own. It's kind of a cool looking title. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one. Speaking of VR, PlayStation VR supposedly restocked this week in many of our favorite retail locations. Now, I haven't seen any of this firsthand. Have you been to any stores recently and seen VR on the shelf?
No, I haven't been to in a store in a while. Anytime I go to Best Buy, I'm usually picking up something that I ordered online, so I don't
Yeah.
like wander around the store. I just go straight to the pickup window, grab my thing, and go. So I haven't really gone to the actual video game section for a while, so I'm not sure. I haven't really seen any.
Yeah. Dude, I'm one of those wanderers.
Really?
So, like, anytime I go into a store, even when I'm picking something up, I always wander around the store just to see what else is out there. I'll see, I don't know, I'll see what movies are out. I'll see what's on sale. I'll wander through and look at some computer stuff, or I always go through the video game section and see if I can maybe catch something on clearance or see what else is out there that I'm not aware of. So,
Yeah,
dude, I'm a full on wanderer.
that's how you end up spending more money than you intend to. That's why I don't do it.
Exactly. So you're the smart one. I am not the smart one. So I wander, I buy additional stuff, and then I lose money and my wife gets mad. So that's kind of the circle of life. It viciously repeats itself. Just something I got to deal with. Yeah, but if you are in the market for VR, I've seen it pop up a few times at some online retailers. So I know there's some stock out there, or there was this past week. So if you are in the market for VR, keep your eyes peeled at either your local retailer or online via Amazon or Best Buy or one of those places. Seems like stock is starting to trickle back into stock, and this is all in anticipation of Farpoint releasing next week, which they're trying to put a big marketing campaign behind. There's an actual TV spot that released this past week for the game, so you might see that on your local station or of choice. So yeah. There's also a promo, too, where you're getting a free camera with the core unit. So that's a pretty good deal as well. So just keep your eyes peeled for PSVR stock. There's going to be some out there to get. Let's talk fighting games for a minute, Bender. Injustice 2, the first DLC pack, was unveiled for the game. So I don't know exactly when DLC pack 1 comes out, but it will house Starfire from the Titans, Red Hood from the Batman universe, and Sub-Zero himself, of course, from the Mortal Kombat universe. So these will be the first 3 characters, in the first of 3 DLC packs for the game. Now, the interesting thing about this reveal was that in the shadows, they had all of the kind of silhouettes of the other characters that are going to be a part of DLC releases in the future. So, in those shadows, we can clearly see 2 people for sure. Raiden and Black Manta. Okay, Black Manta, the Aquaman villain, and Raiden, obviously the classic Mortal Kombat villain. So if I was a betting man, Bender, I would assume that each of these DLC packs will probably house one Mortal Kombat character. So we get Sub-Zero in this one, we're getting Raiden in one of them, and who knows who's going to be in the other one. And then we'll get 2 other DC characters to go along with them. So in some of these silhouettes, there's been talk of maybe Vixen or Raven being one of them, maybe Azrael or Etrigan the Demon being one of the other ones, the kind of bulkier guy with the cape. But other than that, we can't really tell one way or another who the actual characters are for sure. But Ed Boon and NetherRealm, always the teasers, always trying to get us thinking about the next thing for this. So we've talked about this before. They've done a great job with Injustice 2, keeping it in the headlines, constantly releasing characters and a flow of information on this game. So I'm really, really excited for this. We're 1 week away from this now as we're doing the show by the time you're listening to this. So on next week's new release list, Bender, Injustice 2 will be here. What do you think, man? You think you're going to give this one a whirl?
I might check it out. I played the first one a little bit. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked the the characters and everything. It seemed pretty cool, and the story, from what I remember, seemed cool. So yeah, I like the characters that I've seen that they've showed off so far. So it's I might need to check this one out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pumped for it. I know Frankie's pumped for it. Brent, says he doesn't like fighting games, then buys them. So he's probably pumped for it as well. he'll end up buying it because Robert Englund is the voice of Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
So so we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, I'm pumped for Injustice 2, man. Been looking forward to this one for a while. All right, let's finish things out now with some Xbox stuff, Bender. So Microsoft recently shared some new details on this Phantom Dust HD remaster. So they released this 19-minute video to Polygon that kind of showed the game in action, and there was some talk from the creative director, Adam Isgreen, on there. And he discussed some of the things that are going to be in this version of the game. So it's a single-player campaign progression has been updated, so players can now skip any mission after failing it 3 times. Microsoft also plans to release free and paid DLC for the game that will make it more accessible. So there's a free download to those who start the game right off the bat that want to start with a large array of cards and skills that they can take into multiplayer. So I guess one of the original complaints with the game was, it's hard to get into multiplayer and get the skills and the things that you need to get on your character. So some of that's going to be alleviated with this HD remaster. Isgreen also noted that the overall progression of the remaster hasn't been changed in a way that would push players to purchase the DLC. He also confirmed the game would be moved to a 16:9 aspect ratio, hopefully, with widescreen TVs being the norm. And it supports the native resolution of the systems that it's on. So that's 1080p on Xbox One and 4K when on the PC. So if you're interested, you can check out the 19-minute video. It's on YouTube right now of this game in action. Ben, you got any interest in this series at all? It's like a, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of a third-person action. It's got some arena elements. There's some card building involved with it as well. It's a pretty quirky-looking title. Does this tickle your fancy at all?
I'll have to learn more about it, because Phantom Dust is I've heard of this game. I've never actually seen any screenshots or footage or anything of it, so I don't really know what it is exactly. But seems to be beloved from what I've heard of the game, so I guess I'll have to try to find out more about it and see if it's something I'd be wanting to check out.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with the franchise either, but I watched the video for it, and I still wasn't quite sure what was going on. I mean, it was a guy who was fighting people, and it was like a third person action game, but there was some other elements and stuff that I wasn't too familiar with. So I'll have to learn some more about the game. It's got a cult following. I know a lot of people are excited to be able to play it again. So we'll have to see how it turns out. Mm-hmm. Fable Bender has a lot of places it could go, according to Phil Spencer. So he was asked about a new Fable recently on Twitter, and of course he's not just going to out a new Fable just because somebody asked him about it. But on Twitter he had this to say: "Nothing to announce right now, but I do think the IP has a lot of places it could go." So there are still things that Microsoft could do with Fable, even though it canceled the last game. A lot of fans are clamoring for a Fable 4 proper. Have you ever played any of these games? Any of the Fables? 1, 2, 3?
I've played a little bit of the first one.
Okay.
Yes, so I have some experience with it, but never played 2 or 3 or anything. But I liked what I played of Fable 1. But yeah.
I know Taz really likes Fable. He loves the first Fable. He talked about that one all the time when it came out. So I don't know, man. It seems like Fable's a franchise that a lot of people like, and they want to see them do like the next proper Fable. But Microsoft, for whatever reason, seems hesitant to go forward with the project. I mean, obviously they shuttered Lionhead Studios, which was the team behind it, and they tried to do the failed Fable Legends experiment. Some people liked it, some people didn't, and they eventually just canned it before it even came out. I don't know, man. What do you think? Is Fable something we're going to see again in the future, you think?
I hope so. I hate to see a beloved franchise, die or never be revisited again. I hope they find a way to make it work and come out with another one at some point.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. Maybe they'll slip that in at E3 as a surprise. Like, hey, we're making an actual Fable game that everybody wants.
Yeah.
Scorpio, maybe no.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see. But last bit of news here, Bender. Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator. It's coming to Xbox in the near future here. And this is a crazy game where you can throw all kinds of insulting things at your antagonists, such as your mentor was seen at a vegan festival and had an embarrassing cameo in a low-budget softcore, you conjurer of cheap quips. So I'm gonna use that one repeatedly. I'll keep that in my back pocket for when Felsen gets out of line. I'll tell him he went to a vegan festival. So yeah, this is a crazy game. It's done in like the spirit of Monty Python. So if that's your thing, be on the lookout for this one on the Xbox One in the near future. And that's it, Bender. It's gonna bring an end to this show. So we soldiered on here, made it through with just the two of us, and we had a damn good time doing it.
Yeah.
So Bender, let's wrap this thing up. Where can the people find you? Tweeting, gaming, all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm on Twitter at Bender_guitar, and you can find me on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender. You can find me on Xbox Live at meBender82.
Awesome. I, of course, will be not tweeting at Piccolo930. That's my PSN ID, and also where you can find me on the Nintendo Network as well. Make sure you come out and check us out on all of our social media stuff. So we're on Twitter at The Short Pause. Of course, www.shortpause.com is the website. So you can keep up with everything that we do, all of our streams, all of our written articles, all of our reviews. Brent recently posted a review for Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. So if you want to read how that turned out, which was not very well, you can go and read about that. We've got streams of that game. We've got the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlights on the site. Frankie's Praise stream. Bender, your Nog review went up this past week as well. So people can check out that game. You enjoyed that one. That's one I definitely want to check out in the near future. So any and everything Short Pause, come on over to the website, www.shortpause.com. Make sure you're following us on Twitch as well, Short Pause Live on there. So twitch.tv/shortpauselive. Just search out Short Pause Gaming on YouTube, and that will bring you to our YouTube page, which is our main video hub. So you can find all of our live streams, all of our archived videos are all there on our YouTube page. So come on, check out the stuff. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube there. You can find the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and now we're on Stitcher as well. So we just continue to expand our horizons here more and more. So any place that you want to find us, just we're trying to get our show there. Now there won't be a normal video version of the podcast like you're used to seeing every week. We will get the audio version up on our YouTube feed though. So if you do listen to the podcast on YouTube, you'll be able to at least listen into it. You won't be able to see our smiling mugs this week, but I'm sure you'll get over that. If you like the podcast, if you really like the podcast, go on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. If you're not quite ready to give us a 5-star rating, don't head over to iTunes. Head on into the comments. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you think we could do better. If you don't want to talk to us there, send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. So questions, comments, criticism on the site doesn't have to be that either. If you just want a topic you want us to discuss on the show, any and everything. If you want to just talk to us, send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. So Frankie and Brent not here this week. They should be back next week, so we should be back to full capacity on the next episode of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We thank everybody for tuning in and listening. We thank you guys for your support. Thank everybody who's watching on YouTube as well. So for Bender, I'm Ben. Thanks again for stopping in and listening to the show. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Good night.
Adios.